What you doing? What's up, y'all?
Here we go again. Another hour with the Wicked Witch of Watts.
Man, I think she's in a bad mood today. Somebody ripped off a tape deck off of her broom.
Yesterday, I served my last day of detention. I never want to stay after school again.
Well, why should give you a month's detention anyway?
Because I yelled popsicle in the middle of the class.
Well, why'd you do that, Rerun?
I heard a bell ringing somewhere, and I thought it was the good humor man.
Man, you're gonna have to get on Miss Collins' good side.
Yeah, I gotta do something that'll really make her happy.
You could join the Navy.
Good morning, Miss Collins.
All right, class. Stop the talking and open your books to page 53, Roger.
Were you talking to me?
You're late for class.
But the bell just rang.
Just rang is the point, Roger. You're late for class. Now, you're the president of this class, and you're supposed to set a good example. So you'd better have a good reason.
I do have a great excuse. I lost my voice. But luckily, my kid sister found it.
Obviously, you haven't had time to think up a good excuse. I think a week of detention will help to clear your brain.
You're gonna give me a week's detention just because I made a dumb joke?
No, Roger. You get a week for the joke and a week for being late. That's 2 weeks detention. Now, I think we've held up the class long enough.
But Miss Collins,
Would you like to try for 3?
Three?
The class seems to think you're very funny, Roger. Perhaps they'll stop laughing when they see the questions on this surprise quiz.
What? Are you see, there's no reason for her to give a surprise quiz. You understand?
All right,
Let's go
stop
for
the mumbling. Stop the mumbling.
Thank you for the surprise quiz, Miss Collins.
What's with him?
Man, he's trying to be good. He doesn't want to go to detention anymore. Yesterday, he served his last day of a 2-year sentence.
Congratulations, Rerun.
Keep it down, Raj. I don't want to get in trouble.
There will be absolutely no more talking.
Popsicle!
Hey, Shirley.
Hey, Cheryl.
Hey, guys. Why you guys so late?
Miss Collins kept us after school again.
Yeah, she's driving me crazy. I haven't seen the Mike Douglas show in 2 years.
Man, you stayed after school, too?
Uh-huh.
Well, what for?
Daylight savings time.
She blamed you for that.
No, it starts to get dark about 4:30, and I didn't want to walk home by myself.
Uh-huh. All right, what are you guys going to have?
I'll have an orange soda.
Give me a chocolate shake.
Chocolate shake. Okay, Dwayne?
How's the meatloaf?
Oh, the meatloaf is wonderful. Mm-hmm. Learned 2 new tricks today. Yeah. See, you learned how to sit down and then lie down. But nobody can teach it how to stay down.
I think I have a grape soda.
Oh, you got it.
Thank you.
Miss Collins is ruining my senior year.
She's been ruining mine for the past 3 years.
But what I can't believe is that the PTA is honoring her for 25 years of teaching.
Wow, 25 years in one school? That must be a record.
Hang in there, Rerun. You got a chance at breaking it.
But I know one thing. I won't be at that stupid PTA thing.
She'll probably get a gold watch. That way she'll know exactly how many hours she kept you after school.
You mean they're gonna be giving her presents and stuff?
Yeah.
Rerun, you just gave me an idea.
Me? Thanks, Raj.
Hey, look, I gotta go. Meet me at my house after dinner.
Can I come for dinner?
Dee, I'm leaving now. I'll be late for Miss Clark's dinner party.
Okay, Mom.
Look, I'll see you kids later. And I'll be home early. And Dee, you listen to Roger tonight. Remember, he's your big brother.
I I'd give every penny I have to forget it. So how was school, Raj?
Couldn't be better, D.
So you like detention hall?
What are you talking about?
My friend Sissy Perdue's brother Roy is dating a girl whose cousin is in your history class. Need I say more?
So you know I got detention, so what?
If you play your cards right, you know what they say. The buck stops here.
There's a quarter.
I said a buck.
D, I can't afford to keep giving you money.
It's gonna break poor Mama's heart when I tell her. Poor Mama.
All right. Here.
Poor Mama, rich me.
What's happening?
What's happening?
Hey. All right, Raj, what's the big secret?
Here's how we're finally gonna get even with Miss Collins.
What is he talking about? He's always coming up with some scheme. You gonna give her a present?
We're gonna give her this box.
Well, what's in it?
Nothing. Isn't that a great idea?
Yeah, if you're an empty box freak.
Why do you want to give Miss Collins an empty box?
A gift is supposed to show someone what you think of her.
Oh, I get it. And that's what you think of her.
Not me. We.
Let's see, it was the Battle of San Juan Hill, and the man's name was Theodore Roosevelt.
Very good. Frederick, stand up. What can you tell me about the Spanish-American War?
Nothing you don't already know.
Frederick, how did the Spanish-American War end?
Like this. I surrender, y'all.
That will be enough. Sit down, Frederick. Now, class, we have just a minute left, and I want to use it to thank you for your gift. It was really quite a surprise. I know that most of my students think of me as a, well, kind of a tough, mean, rotten old lady. Well, let me tell you, I am. And I'll continue to be just as tough and as mean as I have to be, because you kids are worth it. Can you understand that? Of course you can, because you're a very bright class, and I'm very proud of you. Roger, may I see you a minute? Roger, as moved as I was by the gift itself, I was doubly impressed because I saw your handwriting on the card.
You recognize my handwriting?
Yes. And it takes a very mature young man to forgive a cranky school teacher for some hasty and harsh punishment.
It's nothing.
You have that rare insight that makes it possible for you to understand why I sometimes have to be hard, when all I want is for my kids to make it out there.
Oh, look at you.
What?
I got it in the wrong size.
What?
I'll take it right back and get it in the right size.
It's not what's in the box that's important.
Believe me, it's what's in the box that's important.
No, Roger. It's the thought behind it. Roger, I am so touched by this gift that I'm not even going to open it until tomorrow in front of everyone.
Oh, no, don't open it.
Hello, Gertrude.
Oh, hello, Louis. Roger, this is my husband. Louis, I'd like you to meet Roger.
Pleased to meet you, Roger. My wife has spoken of you quite often. She thinks the world of you.
Yeah, I think the world of her, too. Well, I'll see you later. I'll just take this home and keep it overnight for safekeeping.
Roger, it'll be perfectly safe here. Good night.
Good night. Good night. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Good night.
Good night.
Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite.
That's quite a lad. Well, dear, you ready to go?
Yes. You know, it might not be a bad idea to take this box home. Louis, would you put it in the car? It's from Roger and the class. I was never so surprised in my life. I walked in and there was this box sitting right on the desk. It's the first time in 25 years this has ever happened.
That's very nice.
I feel so terrible after doing that to Miss Collins. We really blew it.
You sure did, Raj.
Yeah, I don't know what got into you, brother. She's really a nice lady.
Hey, wait a minute. We're all in this together. Aren't we? I mean, you remember us, the Three Musketeers? All for one and one for all. Remember?
Hi, guys. Hi, Rerun. So, what's going down other than your chances of ever graduating?
Knock it off, Shirley.
Phew, sorry. All right, what are you going to have?
How about some poison?
Oh, you decided on the meatloaf, huh?
Is that you?
Who wants to know?
It's me, Raj.
Raj who?
Wayne.
Man, Raj, why don't you tell me it was you?
Never mind that. What are you doing here?
I guess the same thing you're doing here. Did you get Miss Collins something good?
I don't know. It was the last minute. I hope she likes it.
What is it?
It's a book. Great Restaurants of Free Balkan Countries.
Huh?
Yeah, it's a good book filled with pictures. It'll come in handy if she's ever in Yugoslavia. Besides, it's the only book I could afford.
You really gonna give that to her?
Yeah. You have a better idea?
Yeah, I got something Miss Collins is gonna love.
Oh, yeah? What is it?
Hold on, I'll let you see it. Well, what do you think?
A linoleum frog?
Isn't it cute?
Dwayne, that's the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It is not ugly. And besides, it's very useful. See, she can put flowers in the mouth and candles out of the eyes. Look, man.
Is anybody here?
Who goes there?
Oh, hi, Raj. It's me, Rerun.
Rerun who?
Hey, how did you get in?
What do you mean, how did I get in? The same way you guys got in.
Who you kidding, Rerun? The only way in is through that high window at the back of the school. You couldn't have climbed all the way up there.
I didn't have to climb up to that. I stood on a big garbage can.
Well, it's a little wastebasket now.
What are you guys doing here?
The same thing you're doing here.
Yeah, what'd you get, Miss Collins?
An autographed picture of Lou Ross.
Hey, let me see it. To Miss Collins, a really neat lady. Best wishes, Lou Rawls. You autographed this yourself, didn't you, Rerun?
Yeah, how'd you know?
P.S. Please don't flunk Rerun.
Well, which one is it gonna be, fellas? I vote on the frog.
Let's give her everything.
Okay.
Hey, the box is gone.
Oh, man, somebody stole the box.
Wait a minute. Miss Collins probably took the box home with her.
You mean we broke into school in the middle of the night for nothing?
When she opens that box and finds nothing, we're gonna get life. Or worse.
Oh, no. Somebody's out there.
Oh, man, Raj, what do we do?
Run.
Run? Wait.
Dwayne, where are you going?
I'm a fraud.
Will you come on?
All right, class, open your textbooks to page 67. Now, if you remember yesterday, we were talking about Roger.
Miss Collins, I know I'm late, but I promise you it's the last time.
It looks perfectly all right, Roger.
I was taking my books out of my locker.
Roger, it's all right. I'm sure you have a very good reason for being late. As a matter of fact, I was very hard on you the other day and very unfair. I'm going to lift your detention.
Thank you, Miss Collins.
How about lifting my detention, Miss Collins?
Frederick, only the governor has that power.
Dee, is your brother coming down? He's going to be late for that testimonial.
I don't know, Mama. I heard him tell you 2 minutes ago he'd be down in a minute.
Coming, Mama.
There he goes lying to you again. I wouldn't blame you if you punish him for a month. And a good shot with his belt wouldn't hurt him either.
Dee.
Yeah?
Shut up.
Hey, Mama, maybe it's not such a good idea if I go tonight.
Why? Aren't you feeling well?
That's good. I feel terrible.
Well, where are you hurt? Are you in pain?
Pain?
Yeah, Raj, where's the pain?
On the couch.
You aren't really sick, are you, Roger?
No, Mama.
Then why do you want to stay home?
I did a terrible thing to Miss Collins.
All right. What did you do?
Remember that gift box I had here a couple of days ago?
Yes, what about it?
I gave it to Miss Collins in honor of her testimonial.
So what's wrong with that?
Mama.
What?
The box was empty. It was a joke.
A joke?
You're a real riot, Raj.
So now she's going to open up in front of the parents and the faculty tonight. What am I going to do?
Are Rerun and Dwayne in on this, too?
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised at you and Dwayne, but from Rerun, I might have expected it. You gotta be suspicious of anybody who carries a picture of Sara Lee in their wallet.
Dee, will you be quiet?
So, see, now you know I don't want to go.
Roger, what you did was cruel and thoughtless. Let me tell you something.
Go easy on her, Mama. What Raj did wasn't cruel or thoughtless. It was just dumb.
This is true.
Thanks a lot.
Feel better now?
Much.
Now, Roger, when I get home from work, I hope you'll have all this straightened out.
Okay, Mom. See you later.
Yes, darling. Go on.
I just saw Miss Collins and her husband come out of the principal's office.
Did you tell her?
I couldn't. There were too many people around.
Oh, man, what we gonna do, Raj? Come on, think.
I got it.
Oh, what is it?
We'll watch her open the box, and then we'll look at her eyes, and as soon as we know that she sees there's nothing in the box, we'll jump up and say, "What is it? What happened? Who stole the bracelet?"
Bracelet, all right.
Yeah, you got it.
I got it. What bracelet, Raj?
Make believe, Rerun.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Get ready, Dwayne.
I'm ready. You ready, Rerun?
Ready, Dwayne. Ready, Raj? I'm ready, Rerun. You ready, Dwayne?
We are all ready already.
Thank you, parents, members of the faculty, and students.
Oh, where's the what I was ready, Raj.
Well, this has been quite a day for me, and frankly, I am dying to see what's in here. Oh. All right. There we go. Well, I don't know. Oh, my dear. Oh, my goodness. Oh.
Who put that junk in there?
Thank you. It's so beautiful. Thank you all so much. And Roger, as president of the class, again, thanks.
Don't mention it.
That's a beautiful vase, fellas.
Well, it's, thanks a lot, Mr. Collins, but it was really nothing.
What do you mean nothing? It cost me $60.
You picked the vase?
Well, it wasn't the vase fairy.
How did you know the box was empty?
Well, luckily, your mother called me just before we left the house, and I was able to run down and pick up the vase without Gertrude finding out.
Sorry, Mr. Collins. I mean, it was a terrible mistake. We snuck in here last night. There was some real gifts in it, didn't we? I mean, you do believe us, don't you?
Yeah, if you want proof, just look outside. You see a little wastebasket. There used to be a big garbage can.
Really, you gotta believe us, Mr. Collins. That's the truth. I even brought this linoleum frog. You want it? Here.
Well, you believe us, don't you?
Yes, I do, fellas.
Oh, I wish there was some way we could pay you back.
There is. Pay me back. Well, let's see now. It cost me $60. Now, we'll be even if each of you gives me $1 a week until you graduate.
Till I graduate, that could run into thousands.
Is that a deal?
Fair enough.
Oh, this is
You
just
folks.
beautiful.
Well, it sounds like Mr. Collins is a nice man.
Yeah, but you really saved our lives, Mama.
I hope from now on you'll be a little more thoughtful for other people. Good night, Mama.
Good night, baby.
Good night, Thoughtless.
Hold it, young lady. You happen to have a wonderful brother. He made a mistake and he tried to correct it. Now get over there and kiss him goodnight.
What?
You heard me. Kiss your brother goodnight. Maybe if you try to act like you love one another, you feel like you love one another. Now kiss each other goodnight. Well,
Night, Raj.
Good night.
now that wasn't painful at all, was it? Roger?
No, Mom.
Yeah, that wasn't painful, was it, Dee?
Well, it's a little in between athlete's feet and diaper rash.
Notre Dame's gonna beat SC today.
How can you say that?
They got more speed than USC. Have you ever seen the tailback of Notre Dame?
Oh, child, that's my favorite movie.
No, Shirley. That's the hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah, Quasimodo.
Hey, wait a minute.
All right, everybody, get your raffle tickets, church raffle tickets. You don't want to raffle tickets? Oh, just helping out orphans. Hey, Shirley. Shirley.
Yeah.
Come on now. All the money goes to the Mid-City Orphanage. And it's only a quarter, and you'll have the satisfaction of knowing you have made some unwanted child happy.
Well, I do that. Every time I bring reruns, something to eat.
How about you, Dwayne? You haven't bought any raffle tickets yet.
No, I'm broke.
You got $20.
$20? Oh, $20. You could buy 80 tickets.
I could also buy a Wilson J5 official NFL football, which is what I'm gonna buy.
A football? You're gonna spend your hard-earned money to buy a football?
And what's wrong with that? Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Dwayne, picture this. A TV special starring Lola Falana,
Oh, yeah?
Diana Ross,
Yeah?
and Pam Grier.
Oh, wow. When? What channel?
It doesn't matter what channel, because your little sister wants to watch the Bionic Duck.
Raj, I don't have a little sister.
Oh, your sister, your mother, what difference does it make? Just use your imagination. Now, you want to watch that special, right?
Right.
All right, Dwayne, you got two choices. You can either go to your room and look at your football, or you can watch those gorgeous, luscious foxes in living color on your own personal TV set. Now, Dwayne, what's it gonna be?
Say anything you want, Raj. I'm not gonna buy a ticket.
Okay. I just hope the orphans understand, but I'm sure they will. You have to be tough to be an orphan. Learning to live without luxuries like clothing, shelter, food. But if it doesn't bother them, why should it bother you? You don't want to buy a ticket? Just say you don't want to buy a ticket. It's perfectly all right with me.
I don't want to buy a ticket.
Don't you ever speak to me again.
Dwayne's smart. I've got that TV set won already.
Wow, all those raffle tickets?
That's right.
That still doesn't mean you're gonna win.
Dwight's doing business with you.
Oh, Rerun, forget the food. Come on, we're gonna miss the game.
Okay. Hey, Shirley,
Yeah.
put this in a doggy bag.
Now, where am I going to get a doggy bag?
Any bag you carry's a doggy bag.
You hear something about it?
Oh, no.
Huh?
Now, Dee, before you go to that party, be sure you finish the vacuuming.
Yes, Mom.
And don't forget to straighten up your room.
Okay, Mom.
Okay, darling. See you later. Oh,
Hi, Ma.
Hi, Miss Thomas.
Hi, Mrs. Thomas.
now look, if you boys are going to be here, I don't want you messing up my house. And stay out of the kitchen, Rerun. And keep your feet off my furniture. Oh, wow. Well, I'll be back about 4. Okay. And remember what I said.
Yes, Mom.
Look, Raj, the pregame show is on.
Oh, wow. That means we missed the coach's corner and the locker room show.
Well, at least we'll still see Pigskin Preview and Behind the Bench in the finals of the Howard Cosell Lookalike Contest.
All right, the interview and the pom-pom girl. Hey, Dee.
Hey, what are you doing? You're messing up the reception. She knows what she's doing. Turn that off. Dee, turn that thing off. What are you doing? We're watching a football game.
So watch it. It won't bother me.
Turn that thing off. Dee, can't you do it later?
Mama said I have to do my work before I can go to Sissy Purdue's party. So back off.
I'll do it for you after the game. Just go to the party.
Let me get this straight. You want to watch TV so bad that you're willing to do my vacuuming for me?
Yeah, anything. Just go.
I couldn't let you do that.
Why not?
Because when I'm through here, I have to go upstairs and clean my room. And if I'm going to do that, I might as well do this too.
They turn that thing.
Raj, will you go clean the room so we can watch the rest of the game?
Okay, I'll clean your room. I'll clean it. Just go to the party.
Thanks, Raj.
What are you doing?
It's not polite to be the first one at a party.
Hey, will you just go?
I'll go, but it's bad form.
SC is in the dark gray and Notre Dame is in the light gray.
It's an old set. It's the best I can do.
Bring it to the left, Raj. Come on, to the left, yeah.
Now, bring it back to the right, Raj.
More. All right, up. Yeah.
Now, down.
More, down. All right, hold it.
Now, lift up your right foot, Raj.
Right there. Ha.
He said, wouldn't it?
It sure would.
You guys go ahead. I'd rather stay here and watch the game on Roger's crummy TV.
What are you worried about?
Getting in trouble. I always get in trouble.
Dwayne, all we're gonna do is go to church and watch a little TV.
We can't watch a football game in the church.
Yes, we can, as long as we root for Notre Dame.
Okay, bring it in. I'll sit up the table over here. Party.
Sissy Purdue's parents got into a fight. It was the dumbest thing in the world. Who ever heard of two adults fighting because a rabbit died?
Oh, I see.
That explains why I'm home. Now, what's that brand new color TV set doing here?
I can explain that.
Well,
None of your business.
I just asked so I know what to tell the police.
Go ahead and hit the ground.
I told
first,
you not to drop the TV set. You should have
Hey,
held me.
wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. This is no time to panic.
It's as good a time as any.
Now, come on, just come over here and let's discuss this thing calmly, please.
What about the game?
God's punishing us and you worried about a football game?
Don't get uptight just because you broke a TV set.
Me, you're getting
Yeah,
the
don't
ground
you
first.
hold
You
your
broke
hands
it.
up and you
Wait a minute. We're all in this. I'm sure if we put our heads together, I bet we can figure out something.
How much you want to bet?
Would you please stay out of this?
I'm not in this. I'm clean.
All right, now look, maybe we should just take the television back to the church and just tell Reverend Bailey that we borrowed it and brought it home, then accidentally broke it. Honesty is the best policy.
What's the second best policy?
Why don't we just have the set fixed? It can't cost much. It was only a little bump.
Great idea, Rerun.
I wish I could help out, but I spent all my money on raffle tickets.
Maybe we could borrow the money.
This is where I leave.
Now, wait a minute, Ree. Haven't I always been a good brother and helped you in your times of need?
Well, a simple yes or no do.
Yes.
No.
Well, she's the only person I know with cash on hand.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody else. If y'all thinking about my 20 bucks, forget it, because I was against this thing from the start.
Let's just take the set back and not tell anyone what we did.
That's dishonest.
What are you bucking for, Eagle Scout?
Hey, why confess before we have to?
Dwayne's right. With all the raffle tickets I bought, I might win.
It could happen, Raj.
Okay. If we win it, then we're in the clear. But if we don't, we have to pay for the damages.
But then that way they'll know that we broke it.
No, they won't. We'll just say the money is part of the prize. Sort of like a service warranty.
Right. No one will ever know.
So can we count on that $20?
Please, Dwayne. We'll pay you back.
Yeah.
All right. But what if somebody sees us sneaking the set back into the church?
Hey, don't worry. We'll time it so when we bring it in, everybody's looking down.
Great, Raj. In the middle of prayers.
No, in the middle of bingo.
Roger, would you come here a minute?
Yes, Mama?
What is wrong with your sister? Yesterday I gave her some simple things to do around the house, and do you know she didn't do them?
Oh, no, Mom, it's my fault. I told her I would do them for her, but I got so caught up in the game, I must have forgotten.
Okay, I'll let it slide this time.
Well, after all, it was the biggest game of the year.
Too bad you guys couldn't watch it in color.
Color? God, why we want to do that? Believe me, Mama, we were glued to this old black and white set. We never even left the house, really.
All right, okay. What you getting so excited about?
Oh, Miss Thomas, what are you doing here?
I live here. He's just nervous about the raffle, Mrs. Thomas.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just nervous about the,
Raffle.
Right, the raffle.
Oh, what's that?
That's his lucky rabbit's foot, and he's got his lucky four-leaf clover in his wallet.
Yeah, and Rerun gave me a pair of horseshoes.
You shouldn't walk around barefoot, Rerun.
You must really want to win that TV set bad, Dwayne. How many raffle tickets did you buy?
None.
None?
You're gonna have to be real lucky.
Hey, isn't the drawing this afternoon?
Why do you ask?
Of course, I'd like to buy me a ticket. This could be my lucky day.
Oh, no, Mama, this isn't your lucky day.
You just be wasting your money, Mrs. Thomas.
I think I can afford a quarter to help the orphanage rerun.
No, you don't have to help the orphans. They have everything they need.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go.
Roger, I hope it isn't serious.
What, Mama?
The thing you've done wrong that I'm going to find out about sooner or later?
Well, bye.
Bye, Roger. Well, young lady, since you're here, you might as well do the vacuuming.
All right.
Okay. Ah, he's in some kind of trouble, isn't he?
Don't worry, I can handle it, Mom.
I wonder, is there something I can do?
My room.
Come back here, Dee.
I wish he would hurry up and draw for that television set already.
Oh, just relax, Dwayne. There's only one more prize to go.
And for you language buffs, a delightful 3-record set of Spanish lessons. And the winning number is 7835. 7835.
I got it. I wanted Spanish lessons. Muchas gracias. Man, it's my lucky day.
It sure is, Frederick.
You can save yourself a lot of trouble and give me the TV set now.
Frederick, no.
Hey,
Yeah, I want a Spanish set.
8534. Anyone?
I got it. I won again. This day is my lucky day. Give me the set.
Congratulations, Frederick.
Thanks. Give me the set.
Frederick, may I see your ticket, please?
Oh, you want to see my ticket? Sure.
Frederick, the winning number is 8534. Your ticket number is 2217.
Oh, I must have read it wrong. Does this mean you won't give me the set?
Sorry, Frederick. 8534, anyone? Since it's not necessary to be present to win, we will look up the winning number in our receipt book.
Now, what did you do that for?
He's a reverend. I thought he'd trust me.
Did they give away the TV?
Yeah, but we didn't win it.
Well, who did?
The lucky fool has 8534.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. Why that ticket?
What rotten luck. Oh, well, where's the $20, Dwayne?
Right here.
What's the $20 for?
Well, you know we broke the set. We're going to give the money to Shirley and say it's part of the prize, so she can use it to get it fixed. Now, that's the way it's going to be.
That's not the way it has to be.
Just be quiet, Dee.
Well, maybe you'll listen to me. I can get you out of this mess.
Look, Dee, there's nothing that you can say right now that I would want to hear. Now, we did something wrong, and we admit it.
But, Raj...
No buts. Now, you're the last person I want to hear from right now. So once and for all, keep your mouth...
And 2 pieces with everything.
2 pieces with everything.
To go.
Okay, thank you.
You're up.
Dwayne, will you please hold that flashlight steady?
I'm trying, Roger. My hand is shaking. You know I don't like the dark.
Well, at least bring the light closer.
Why
not?
I don't like electricity either.
Will you just hand me the wire cutters?
Okay, where are they?
Look in the toolbox and you'll find them.
Right.
Ow! Great, you found them. Thank you.
Are you almost finished?
Yep. If this lamp goes on, that means the outlet's fixed.
Okay.
Hit that main fuse.
Now
what's the matter?
This whole house could go and I could get electrocuted.
Will you just turn on the lights? Dwayne.
See, Raj, I knew it. You don't know the first thing about electricity. The whole house is pitch black.
Dwayne, will you just try opening your eyes?
Congratulations, Raj.
Can I ask you a question? Is there anything you're not afraid of?
Yeah, rice.
Rice? How come you're not afraid of rice?
You mean I should be?
Never mind. Hey, we gotta get over to Shirley so we can watch that movie in color.
Oh, yes. She said she wouldn't seat anybody after the first 5 minutes.
Well, where's Rita? We're late.
Oh, he's listening to those Spanish records he won. He's on lesson 6.
Well, you talked to him. What did he say?
He said, Cuando caliente el sol aquí en la playa.
That means it's hot at the beach. What are you doing?
I'm getting ready for the book.
So are we.
Rerun, did you learn any Spanish at all?
Yeah. Buenos dias is good morning. Buenas noches is good night.
All you can say is good morning and good night. What are you going to do the rest of the day?
I know enough Spanish to get by.
Oh, yeah? What else can you say?
Tacos, burritos, enchiladas, taquitos.
The morning sun filtered through the blinds of Raj's small Los Angeles apartment, casting narrow stripes across the cluttered room. A mixture of books, scattered newspapers, and a half-eaten bowl of cereal that had been abandoned hours ago. Raj rubbed his eyes, feeling the familiar pang of anxiety mixed with anticipation, a sensation that had become all too common in recent weeks. Something about the world outside seemed to have shifted, an undercurrent of tension and expectation. And even though the air smelled like freshly brewed coffee from the kitchen down the hall, it did little to calm his restless mind. Dwayne, his roommate and closest friend, burst in before Raj could even reach for his phone, his usual exuberance a stark contrast to Raj's quiet intensity. "Man, you gotta see this," Dwayne said, waving a crumpled flyer that had been slipped under the door. The paper advertised a new nightclub opening in town, promising live music, flashing lights, and a theme that, according to Dwayne, was so black and white, it'll make your head spin. Raj squinted at the flyer, trying to process the swirl of words and images, but he felt a creeping suspicion, an instinct he had learned to trust, that there was more to this than just another nightlife gimmick. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "D, why do I feel like you're dragging me into some sort of trouble?" Dwayne grinned, unfazed, leaning against the doorframe as if he owned the world. "Because you love trouble, man. Admit it. And tonight, we're going to see what happens when black and white collide." Before Raj could protest, Dwayne had yanked him out of the apartment and onto the street, the city alive with the hum of traffic, the distant sirens, and the faint strains of a jazz saxophone from a nearby club. They walked in silence for a few blocks, each step echoing in the cold morning air, the flyer's bold letters etched in Raj's mind. He couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't just about a party. It was about something deeper, something that might reveal cracks in the facade of the world they thought they understood. As they approached the club, the entrance glimmered under a neon sign that alternated between black and white, like a visual heartbeat, pulsing in sync with the distant bass. People were lined up outside, chatting, laughing, and occasionally glancing at the street with the casual alertness of those who knew the city's hidden stories. Dwayne nudged Raj forward. "Come on, man, don't be shy. We're about to witness the chaos." Raj hesitated at the threshold, feeling a sudden chill, not from the temperature, but from the weight of expectation pressing down on him. He took a deep breath and stepped inside. The interior was a sensory overload. Mirrored walls reflected strobe lights, casting fragmented shadows across the dancers' faces. A live band played an unsettling fusion of blues and funk, each note bending reality in a way that made Raj's stomach twist. He clutched Dwayne's arm, trying to ground himself. This is intense," he muttered. Dwayne laughed, a loud, reckless sound that seemed at odds with the sophisticated chaos around them. "Intensity is just life's way of saying you're awake, Raj. Feel it." At the bar, their friend Dee arrived unexpectedly, her presence a welcome anchor in the surreal environment. She wore a sleek black dress that contrasted sharply with her radiant skin, and her eyes held a spark of mischief and wisdom all at once. "You boys look lost," she teased, sliding between them with effortless grace. "Or maybe just scared of what's about to happen." Raj couldn't help but smile, though a part of him remained uneasy. "It's a lot," he admitted, gesturing at the swirling crowd and the chaotic lights. Dee nodded knowingly, scanning the room as if she could read the intentions of everyone present. "That's the point. Black and white isn't just colors, you know. Its choices, consequences, lines people draw and cross without thinking. Tonight, you'll see how blurred those lines can get. Before Raj could ask for clarification, the lights dimmed further, the music slowed, and a hush fell over the crowd. A figure appeared on a small stage, draped in a half-black, half-white cloak, their face obscured by a mask that made their eyes appear impossibly large and expressive. The crowd erupted into cheers, yet the sound felt hollow to Raj, like an echo in a cavern too vast to comprehend. The figure raised a hand, and suddenly, the music shifted, a deep, resonant bass vibrating through the floor, seeping into the very bones of everyone present. Raj felt a strange compulsion to move, though he barely understood why. Dwayne was already dancing, oblivious to the tension curling in Raj's chest, while Dee stayed close, her eyes never leaving the masked figure. As the performance unfolded, Raj noticed subtle interactions around him. A whispered conversation between two strangers that ended in a hurried exchange of a folded piece of paper, a hand lingering too long on a shoulder before vanishing into the crowd, eyes meeting and avoiding each other with unspoken messages. It was as if the club itself was a living organism, and they were mere cells caught in its pulse. Raj tried to focus on the music, letting the rhythms and the crescendos wash over him, but his attention kept snapping back to the anomalies he noticed. Dee leaned closer, her voice barely audible over the swelling bass. See them? Everyone's hiding something. Everyone's performing, just like the masked one. And you, Raj, have a choice: observe or participate. He swallowed hard, feeling the weight of her words. Participation felt like a step into a labyrinth with no exit, a dance between revelation and risk. Yet, the curiosity gnawed at him, a quiet, persistent urge that had never been stronger. As the night stretched on, strange patterns emerged. Laughter that seemed forced, gestures that carried hidden meanings, a tension that oscillated between playful and menacing. The performers on stage became increasingly interactive, drawing individuals from the crowd into cryptic mini-dramas that blurred the line between entertainment and interrogation. Raj found himself both terrified and fascinated, watching as human behavior revealed its contradictions, its shades of gray, hidden behind masks of normalcy. Dwayne, naturally fearless, volunteered for one of the stage segments, disappearing behind a curtain as Raj's anxiety spiked. Dee squeezed his hand, a reassuring but fleeting gesture. "Whatever happens, it's all part of the game," she whispered. Raj nodded, though he had no idea what game she meant. Behind the curtain, Dwayne emerged moments later, wearing the black and white cloak of the lead performer, his expression a mix of exhilaration and bewilderment. The crowd cheered, but Raj noticed the subtle tension in Dwayne's posture, the way his hands trembled ever so slightly as he balanced the exhilaration with an unspoken fear. The masked figure approached Raj finally, stepping off the stage with a deliberate, almost ceremonial air. They stopped inches away, and he could see behind the mask eyes that were too alive, too knowing. "You came to see the colors," the figure said, voice smooth, resonant, yet edged with something unnameable. "But black and white is never about colors. It's about choices, truths, and lies. And tonight, you're going to learn the difference." The words pierced Raj with an unexpected clarity. He realized that this night, this club, this chaos, it was not just a spectacle. It was a mirror reflecting the hidden desires, fears, and secrets of everyone present. And somehow, he was at the center of it. As the music built to a crescendo, the masked figure raised their arms, and the lights flashed in dizzying alternation, black and white, until Raj felt as if the world itself had fractured into shards of shadow and light. He felt the pulse of the bass as a heartbeat, the rhythm of life and consequence vibrating through him. And in that instant, he understood Dee's warning. Observation was no longer enough. Choice had been thrust upon him, whether he wanted it or not, and the first step had to be made now, in the thick of the swirling, chaotic, intoxicating reality of black and white. Raj stood frozen for a moment, the alternating strobe lights of the club painting his face in sharp slices of black and white, as if reality itself were dissected into its simplest, yet most terrifying components. The masked figure's words reverberated in his mind, echoing with an intensity that made his chest tighten. Choice, truth, lies. He felt the weight of it pressing down on him like a physical force, an invisible hand guiding him toward an unknown path. Dwayne, oblivious to Raj's hesitation, was already laughing on the stage, performing a mock duel with another participant in a chaotic sequence orchestrated by the masked figure. The crowd roared in approval, but Raj couldn't shake the sense that something was deliberately happening around him, patterns he had yet to understand. Dee leaned closer, her perfume mixing with the metallic tang of the bass vibrations. "You have to move, Raj. Don't just watch," she urged. "If you wait too long, the opportunity passes, and then you're left with questions." Questions. Raj hated questions, hated ambiguity, and yet there was a perverse thrill in confronting them head-on. Slowly, he let his feet carry him toward the center of the floor, navigating the throng of dancers whose movements seemed simultaneously random and meticulously coordinated. Each step made him more aware of the subtle interactions between people. The glance exchanged, the faint hesitation in a handshake, the micro-expressions that betrayed concealed motives. The masked figure was now at the bar, inviting individuals to reveal personal truths in exchange for some enigmatic prize. Raj watched as a young woman, barely out of college, hesitated, then whispered something that made the figure nod approvingly before handing her a small black and white cube. She held it like a talisman, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and awe. Raj realized the cube's significance must go beyond its simple geometry. It was a symbol, a tangible manifestation of the invisible choices the masked figure had been alluding to. Before he could dwell further, Dee tugged at his arm. "Your turn," she said, almost whispering, yet firm, insistent. "The moment is now, Raj. You can't think your way out of it." He hesitated, a storm of conflicting emotions raging inside him. Part of him wanted to flee, to escape the intensity and return to the safety of observation. Yet, the other part, the part that craved understanding, that had always leaned toward exploration and risk, urged him forward. With a shaky breath, he approached the masked figure, who extended a gloved hand, palm open, inviting. "Step into the light," the figure said, voice measured but compelling, as if they could see directly into the core of his hesitation. Raj complied, feeling the stares of the crowd settle on him like a physical weight. The lights alternated faster, the black and white strobe carving the space into distinct zones of shadow and brilliance. Each flash seemed to pull out a fragment of his consciousness, laying bare the layers of certainty and doubt that defined him. He was acutely aware of Dwayne on stage, Dee at his side, and yet the world felt entirely intimate, centered on this singular interaction with the figure before him. "Your choices define more than you think," the masked figure said, lowering their voice so only Raj could hear. "One decision tonight will ripple through the patterns, affecting outcomes you cannot yet predict. Do you understand?" Raj nodded, though the tremor in his hands betrayed his inner turmoil. He understood perfectly, yet comprehension offered no comfort. The cube he had noticed earlier glimmered on the bar, reflecting fragmented lights. The figure gestured subtly toward it, and Raj realized he would need to take it, or refuse, and that either action would carry consequences beyond mere symbolism. As his fingers brushed the cube, a jolt of sensation shot through him, like a surge of electricity fused with a wave of vertigo. Suddenly, the room seemed to split into two overlapping realities, one a chaotic dance of light, music, and movement, the other a shadowy mirror where every action and word bore amplified significance. Raj's mind raced, cataloging the faces, the gestures, the whispered exchanges he had observed, trying to decode the hidden logic beneath the night's orchestrated chaos. Dee's hand on his shoulder grounded him, but even her presence could not fully shield him from the surreal intensity that had taken over. "Now speak," the masked figure instructed. "Reveal a truth and accept the weight of it." Raj's throat tightened. Truth. The very word seemed dangerous, as if uttering it would unravel threads he was not ready to face. And yet, there was an undeniable pull, a silent command that demanded compliance. He drew in a deep breath, letting his thoughts flow unfiltered, unedited, knowing that hesitation would only prolong the inevitable confrontation. "I'm afraid," he admitted, voice barely audible over the swelling music. "Afraid of being wrong, of making a choice that hurts someone I care about, or even myself. Afraid that I've spent so long observing that I've forgotten how to act without overthinking." Silence. For a moment, the masked figure did not move, did not respond, and Raj felt the crushing weight of every eye in the club, as though the world itself had paused to witness his confession. Then, slowly, the figure nodded, a subtle acknowledgement that sent a ripple through Raj's consciousness. "Fear is the first color," they said. "It is neither black nor white, yet it defines the spectrum. Understanding it allows movement, allows choice. You have spoken the truth. Now act upon it." Before Raj could process, the masked figure took his hand and guided him toward a corner of the room where a series of interactive installations had been arranged. Each was a puzzle, a test, a choice frozen in time, waiting for someone to engage. Dwayne, noticing Raj's movement, slid off the stage, abandoning his performance mid-laugh, and jogged to join him, a mix of curiosity and mischief lighting his expression. "Finally, man, took you long enough," Dwayne exclaimed, grabbing Raj's shoulder and shaking him lightly. "Come on, let's see what these things are about." Raj's eyes scanned the installations, each a blend of artistry and ambiguity. One was a series of hanging mirrors reflecting fragmented images of the participants. Another, a wall of buttons and levers, seemingly connected in a sequence that defied logic. A third, a set of black and white cards inscribed with cryptic phrases that challenge perception and moral judgment. Dee followed closely, her expression a careful blend of amusement and caution. "These are more than games," she warned. "They're lessons, tests of intuition, courage, and honesty. Choose carefully, because your interactions here will echo beyond this room, beyond this night." Raj swallowed hard, feeling the familiar surge of tension, the unrelenting pull of curiosity. He approached the mirror installation first, standing between fragmented reflections of himself and the others around him. Each mirror seemed to highlight a different facet of his personality: the anxious observer, the hesitant actor, the curious explorer, the cautious friend. As he touched one of the mirrors, the reflection warped, revealing not just his image, but glimpses of alternative decisions he had made in life, each branching into unseen consequences. Dwayne, impatient and daring, began touching multiple mirrors at once, laughter spilling uncontrollably as distorted versions of himself danced and twisted in response. Raj, however, lingered, studying each reflection with meticulous care, understanding that even in this playful display lay insights into the patterns of choice and consequence that defined human experience. Moving on to the wall of buttons and levers, Raj noticed the sequence appeared random, yet subtle rhythms emerged if he observed carefully. Each lever he pulled triggered sounds, lights, or mechanical movements that seemed to interact with previous actions, forming a chain reaction. The installation demanded precision, patience, and awareness of cause and effect. He realized that this was a metaphor, a lesson in attentiveness, illustrating that even small, seemingly insignificant actions could ripple outward, shaping events in unforeseen ways. Dwayne's impulsive approach contrasted sharply, each random pull causing laughter, chaos, and occasional frustration, yet indirectly demonstrating the same principle. Unpredictability is part of every system, and understanding arises from both observation and participation. Finally, Raj turned to the black and white cards, arranging them in sequences based on instinct, moral judgment, and intuition. Each choice elicited a reaction from the masked figure, subtle nods, gestures, or shifts in tone that conveyed approval, caution, or challenge. Raj felt as though he were engaged in a silent dialogue with the figure, a test of perception and discernment where the stakes were unspoken but deeply personal. Time seemed to distort as he engaged with the installations. The music swelled, shifted, and faded in tandem with his actions, creating a synesthetic experience where sound, sight, and intuition blended into a single, immersive reality. He realized that the night was not merely entertainment. It was an orchestrated confrontation with self, others, and the choices that knit the fabric of life together. Dwayne, exhausted from his own exuberance, finally collapsed on a nearby bench, panting and grinning. Man, this is wild. I can't tell if we're winning, losing, or just living. Dee laughed softly, observing Raj with a mixture of pride and amusement. You're learning. Not the rules, not yet. Just learning how to see beyond the obvious. And that is the first step. Raj nodded, understanding that this was only the beginning. The black and white motif was not just a visual aesthetic. It was a philosophical challenge, an invitation to confront duality, contradiction, and moral ambiguity. And in that moment, he felt a subtle shift within himself, a recognition that the night's trials were shaping him in ways he could not yet articulate, but that would reverberate long after the lights dimmed and the music faded. The masked figure approached again, a silent acknowledgement passing between them. Remember, they whispered, voice barely audible over the thrum of the bass. Every choice you make tonight is a step into the unknown. Fear, courage, honesty, deception, they are all colors in the spectrum. Learn to navigate them, and you will understand the patterns. Fail, and the shadows may consume what light you carry. Raj exhaled, a mix of apprehension and exhilaration coursing through him. He looked at Dwayne, still laughing despite the chaos, and Dee, calm yet deeply engaged, and realized that the night, the club, the installations, and the masked figure were more than a spectacle. They were a living metaphor, a microcosm of life itself. And he, Raj, was at the center of it, poised to take the first steps into a labyrinth of choices, consequences, and revelations that would test not just his intellect, but the very essence of who he was. As the night deepened, Raj found himself drawn further into the labyrinthine environment the masked figure had created. Each room, each installation, each interaction a carefully designed puzzle that forced him to confront not only the external chaos, but the turbulence within his own mind. The pulsating lights, now shifting from stark black and white contrasts to complex grayscale patterns, seemed to echo the moral ambiguity and layered intentions of everyone in the club. Even Dwayne, normally impervious to subtlety, appeared momentarily subdued, as if sensing the hidden weight behind each decision, each gesture. Dee, ever the observant guide, remained by Raj's side, her hand a steady anchor against the disorienting visual and auditory onslaught. The black and white theme isn't literal, she whispered, her voice threaded with excitement and caution. It's symbolic. It's the duality of choices, the visible and invisible consequences of every action, the morality hidden beneath our instincts. Tonight, you'll see how easily the spectrum blurs, and how the simplest decisions can ripple outward in ways we can't predict. Raj nodded, absorbing her words while simultaneously feeling the overwhelming sensory input pressing down on him. The crowd around them had shifted, people becoming both participants and observers in a complex social experiment that seemed to unfold in real time. He noticed subtle interactions he had missed before, a whispered word exchange between two dancers, a fleeting hand gesture that communicated an entire argument, a look of discomfort met with a fleeting smile to mask uncertainty. Each observation compounded the sense that he was not merely witnessing an event, but participating in a larger, intricate web of human behavior. He turned his attention to a new room, accessible through an archway framed by cascading strings of lights, each bulb alternating between black and white in irregular sequences. Inside, The space opened into a circular chamber, the walls lined with panels displaying abstract shapes that shifted according to the movements of those within the room. The floor, a grid of responsive tiles, glowed underfoot, illuminating with pulses that tracked even the smallest steps. Dwayne, as usual, dove headfirst into the experience, stomping and twirling with reckless abandon, while Dee remained calm, analyzing each reaction with quiet precision. Raj, hesitant at first, stepped onto a tile and felt the vibration resonate through him, each pulse a reminder that actions, no matter how subtle, carried weight. As he moved, he noticed that the shapes on the panels seemed to respond not only to his physical presence, but to the choices he had made earlier at the installations. A reflection of a decision taken, a hesitation avoided, a truth confessed, all manifested in shifting patterns of light and shadow that danced across the walls in mesmerizing complexity. It was as though the room itself were a mirror of moral causality, a tangible representation of cause and effect woven into the fabric of perception. Suddenly, a voice cut through the layered music, clear and deliberate. Every choice you make in this space has a counterpart, a shadow. Observe the reflection and understand it, or it will shape you without your awareness. Raj looked around, searching for the speaker, and realized it was the masked figure again, moving silently along the perimeter, their presence both commanding and invisible, an omnipresent guide through the unfolding maze of perception and consequence. He felt a shiver run down his spine, the combination of fear, anticipation, and curiosity merging into a potent cocktail that both thrilled and unsettled him. He tried to focus on the grid, noting how each step triggered an immediate reaction on the walls, and began to experiment with movement, testing sequences, trying to predict the patterns. He realized quickly that prediction alone was insufficient. The system required adaptability, intuition, and moral awareness. Dwayne, having exhausted his initial frenzy, began to follow Raj's careful movements, imitating the patterns with varying success, laughing when the walls responded unpredictably to his improvisation. Dee observed silently, occasionally offering a nod or subtle gesture, guiding without overt instruction, allowing Raj to learn the rhythm of the chamber through experience rather than explicit explanation. The music shifted, a slow, haunting blues line threading through the cacophony, providing a rhythm that resonated deeply with Raj's own heartbeat. The combination of sound, movement, and visual feedback created a synesthetic environment where perception, decision-making, and moral awareness were inseparably intertwined. Raj became increasingly aware of how choices in one room or action rippled outward, subtly influencing the responses of others around him. He observed the crowd through peripheral vision, noticing micro-adjustments, subtle reactions that were consequences of his and Dwayne's actions. It was a stark revelation. Human behavior was an intricate network of cause and effect. Every choice, every hesitation, every interaction a node in an invisible lattice that could be understood only through direct engagement. At one point, the masked figure gestured toward a specific pattern on the wall, a sequence of black and white symbols that appeared almost hieroglyphic. Interpretation is key, the figure said. Your perception of these symbols, filtered through your choices and intentions, will guide you. Misinterpret, and you will be forced to confront the unexpected consequences. Raj studied the symbols carefully. Each seemed to represent a decision or a moral choice, some obvious, others cryptic. He realized that the exercise was not merely intellectual, but moral and psychological, forcing him to navigate not only patterns, but the ethical weight embedded within them. He selected a sequence, cautiously pressing a series of responsive panels, each illuminating in confirmation of his choice. The walls reacted, swirling into a complex visual cascade that reflected both the action taken and the latent consequences of his interpretation. Dwayne, impatient and impulsive, selected a completely different sequence, and the resulting cascade was chaotic, unpredictable, yet oddly beautiful, demonstrating that even seemingly erratic choices contributed to the overarching system in ways that were both visible and hidden. Dee's expression remained unreadable, though her eyes betrayed a flicker of approval, suggesting that both approaches were valuable in understanding the intricate interplay of action and reaction. As the sequence completed, the room's lights shifted back to stark black and white patterns, emphasizing contrast, clarity, and duality. Raj realized that this was the intended climax, a moment of revelation where the lessons of the night were distilled into an immediate, palpable experience. The masked figure approached him, their voice calm but resonant. "You have observed, you have acted, and you have interpreted. Now you must confront the consequences. The next room contains the choice that will define your path for the remainder of the evening. Step forward knowingly, for hesitation may distort the outcome." Raj's mind raced, cataloging the events of the night. The installations, the mirrored reflections, the responsive tiles, the cascading patterns, and the subtle interactions of the crowd. Each element was a lesson, each trial a measure of his understanding, intuition, and courage. And yet, the ultimate test remained. The room ahead, the decisive moment that would crystallize the lessons into tangible consequences. Dwayne clapped him on the back, a mix of encouragement and excitement. "Man, whatever happens next, I know you're going to crush it. Just trust yourself." Dee nodded, her gaze steady, calm, and full of quiet insistence. Raj took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility and anticipation converge. As he stepped through the threshold into the next room, he was immediately struck by the starkness of the environment. A minimalist space bathed entirely in monochrome light, the floor, walls, and ceiling reduced to black and white planes, devoid of pattern or decoration. At the center of the room stood two pedestals, each supporting a small object shrouded in cloth. The masked figure's voice echoed through the space. "One choice is simple, one choice is complex. One preserves the present, one challenges it. Choose wisely." Raj approached the pedestals, his fingers brushing the fabric, feeling the textures beneath. One was smooth and cold, the other warm and textured. Both radiated an energy that was almost imperceptible yet undeniable. He realized instinctively that his decision would affect not only his personal journey through this night, but also the dynamics surrounding him, Dwayne, Dee, and even the masked figure themselves. As he hesitated, he felt the pulse of the black and white environment, each beat urging him forward, each rhythm a reminder that life was an ongoing negotiation between courage, morality, and insight. He lifted the cloth from the left pedestal. Inside lay a simple black and white cube, identical to the one he had noticed earlier at the bar, now emanating a subtle glow. The symbolism was immediate and overwhelming, a tangible representation of duality, the balance of choice, the intersection of consequence and intention. Without further hesitation, he selected the cube, sensing that this act would crystallize the lessons learned, yet simultaneously commit him to an unpredictable trajectory. The masked figure nodded approvingly, their eyes reflecting the strobe light pulse as if acknowledging Raj's awareness and discernment. Dwayne leaned forward, excitement and curiosity mingling, while Dee's serene gaze conveyed a quiet affirmation. He had made a choice aligned with both understanding and courage. Suddenly, the music shifted again, a haunting melody that seemed to echo through the monochrome space. The walls pulsed in time with the beat, and Raj felt a profound connection between the cube in his hand, the choices he had made, and the invisible network of cause and effect surrounding him. The night, he realized, was far from over. The black and white theme, the installations, the masked figure, and the responsive environment had only begun to unravel the complexity of human perception, morality, and consequence. And as he prepared to take the next step, he understood that every decision from this point forward would carry amplified significance, each ripple extending beyond the walls of the club, into the very patterns of life he had spent so long observing and avoiding. Stepping out of the monochrome chamber, Raj felt an almost tangible shift in the air, as though the night itself had leaned in, curious about the choices he had made and the paths he would now take. The bass of the distant music reverberated through his chest, a heartbeat that matched the rhythm of his own trepidation. And for a fleeting moment, he wondered if the club had become a living organism, its pulse synchronized with the decisions of those within it. Dwayne bounded ahead, fearless and irrepressible, weaving between clusters of clubgoers who had now dispersed into smaller, more intimate groupings, each engaged in quiet observation, whispered exchanges, or subtle performances of their own. Dee remained close to Raj, her hand brushing his lightly, her presence a stabilizing anchor in a world that seemed to oscillate unpredictably between chaos and order. "You've taken the first step," she said softly, almost meditatively, her eyes scanning the shifting crowd. "But the night has only begun to test you. Understanding the duality isn't enough. You have to navigate it." Raj nodded, absorbing her words, aware of the weight behind them. The duality she referenced wasn't simply black and white, right or wrong. It was action and consequence, choice and inevitability, perception and reality. Every gesture, every glance, every decision carried layers of meaning, and he realized that the night's lessons would extend far beyond the club's walls. They moved through a narrow corridor lined with mirrors, the reflections fractured into hundreds of distorted angles, each one amplifying the movements, expressions, and tensions of everyone passing through. Raj noticed the subtle shifts in Dwayne's reflection, the exaggerated confidence, the playful bravado, the undercurrent of hesitation he rarely acknowledged in real life. Dee's reflections were steadier, but still carried subtle nuances of her inner calculations and attention to detail. Raj's own reflections seemed the most complex, multiplying and diverging in unpredictable ways, each iteration highlighting fears, desires, and moral ambiguities he hadn't fully confronted. As they emerged from the corridor, they entered a new space, a room bathed in deep shadows, with isolated beams of white light highlighting various stations, each containing a different puzzle or interactive task. The masked figure stood at the center, motionless yet commanding, an anchor amid the shifting darkness. "The next phase requires collaboration, observation, and courage," the figure said. "Individual action has meaning, but some consequences can only be addressed collectively. Choose your partners wisely." Dwayne, never one to wait, immediately grabbed a lever and pulled it, triggering a cascade of chimes and lights that illuminated the first station. It appeared to be a mechanical puzzle, a series of interlocking gears and switches that demanded both dexterity and coordination. Dee gently guided Raj's hand to the controls, explaining quietly, "Observe the patterns first. Reaction alone won't suffice." Together, they began manipulating the puzzle, each movement carefully considered, each adjustment informed by observation of how the system responded. Raj felt a growing awareness of the delicate balance between action and anticipation. A single misstep could disrupt the entire mechanism. Dwayne, ever impulsive, contributed a surprising insight that accelerated their progress, and Raj realized that unpredictability, when harnessed properly, could be as valuable as deliberate strategy. The mechanical puzzle shifted, releasing a cascade of light into the room, illuminating the next station. A series of interactive projections on the floor, each requiring participants to move, step, or gesture in precise sequences to trigger reactions. The patterns were intricate, almost like choreography, blending music, movement, and visual feedback in a way that challenged both intuition and collaboration. Raj studied the projections carefully, noting how his own movements affected not only the immediate patterns but also distant ones, seemingly in different areas of the room. Dee moved with quiet precision, Dwayne with chaotic brilliance, and Raj found himself mediating between the two extremes, balancing observation, intuition, and action in a way that demanded his full attention. Time seemed suspended, each pulse of the projections aligned with his heartbeat, the ambient music, and the subtle movements of everyone involved. He realized that these interactions were not merely puzzles. They were simulations, miniatures of complex social dynamics, moral dilemmas, and the consequences of coordinated and uncoordinated actions. With each step, the black and white theme became increasingly symbolic. The interplay of light and shadow, representing choices, consequences, and the nuanced ethical decisions embedded in seemingly simple actions. As they completed the projection sequence, the masked figure approached again, their movements fluid and deliberate. "You are learning," they said, voice calm but penetrating. "But now comes the trial that will test your understanding of observation, intuition, and courage combined. The next station requires confrontation with uncertainty and risk. Hesitation may cost more than you anticipate." Raj felt a jolt of apprehension. He had expected challenges, but the intensity of this statement made him aware that the stakes were escalating, moving from puzzles and patterns to moral and psychological terrain that demanded full engagement and self-awareness. They approached the final station, a platform suspended slightly above the floor, surrounded by mirrors and beams of black and white light that created illusions of depth and vertigo. On the platform lay a series of boxes, each one marked with symbols similar to those he had encountered earlier, but now more complex, interwoven with multiple layers of meaning. Dwayne immediately leapt onto the platform, eager to engage, while Dee and Raj followed more cautiously, aware of the subtle dangers posed by misinterpretation or impulsive action. The task became immediately apparent. Each box represented a choice with consequences that affected not only the physical environment, but the projected interactions of others in the room. Selecting incorrectly could trigger cascading failures, disrupting patterns established in previous stations, while selecting correctly could unlock deeper understanding and insight into the interconnected web of cause and effect. Raj's mind raced as he observed the boxes, noting patterns, symbols, and interactions. He considered the lessons of the night. Observation alone was insufficient. Collaboration, intuition, and courage were equally critical. He also understood the moral weight embedded in each decision. Choices were never neutral, and even well-intentioned actions could have unintended consequences. Dwayne, impulsive as ever, reached for a box marked with bold, contrasting symbols. The box clicked, triggering an unexpected reaction. Lights flashed unpredictably, projections shifted chaotically, and a wave of sound rippled through the room. Raj realized immediately that Dwayne's choice, while uncalculated, had altered the environment in ways that would test their collective understanding, forcing them to adapt rapidly. Dee stepped forward, her calm presence guiding them. "We need to interpret the ripple," she said, gesturing to the projections and interactive elements that had changed. "Every action has a reaction. Observe, adapt, and act accordingly." Raj felt a surge of focus, his mind attuning to the complexity of the system around them. He studied the projections, the shifting lights, and the mirrors, identifying subtle feedback loops and hidden patterns that suggested optimal sequences of movement and choice. Together, he, Dee, and Dwayne began to manipulate the boxes, stepping on illuminated tiles, adjusting levers, and coordinating gestures with precise timing. Each action triggered immediate responses and cascading secondary effects, a symphony of cause and consequence unfolding in real time. Raj became acutely aware of how the black and white motif extended beyond aesthetics into the very structure of the task before them. Light and shadow, order and chaos, observation and action, risk and reward, all interwoven into a cohesive, if unpredictable, system. Minutes, or perhaps hours, passed in a blur as they worked, the music and projections synchronizing with their actions in ways that both exhilarated and challenged them. Raj noticed subtle shifts in Dwayne's behavior, a growing awareness of patterns, a heightened sense of timing, a willingness to defer immediate gratification in favor of coordinated action. Dee, ever composed, provided critical insights, her guidance enabling them to navigate the increasingly complex interactions with efficiency and precision. As the final sequence completed, a moment of silence fell over the room. The black and white lights stabilized, the projections settled into static patterns, and the mechanical and interactive elements came to rest. The masked figure approached, their presence commanding yet understated. You have navigated complexity, embraced uncertainty, and balanced observation with action. You have confronted fear and made choices under pressure. This is the beginning of understanding, but the night's lessons continue. There is still one final stage where observation, morality, courage, and consequence converge fully. Raj felt both exhaustion and exhilaration, the culmination of the trials so far leaving him simultaneously drained and intensely alert. He glanced at Dwayne, whose grin conveyed pride and excitement, and at Dee, whose calm assurance seemed to encapsulate the wisdom gained thus far. The black and white environment had already begun to shape them, altering their perceptions, sharpening their awareness, and revealing dimensions of choice and consequence previously unnoticed. And as the masked figure stepped aside, revealing a staircase descending into shadowed depths, Raj understood that the final trial would require everything they had learned, challenging not only intellect and courage, but the very essence of judgment and moral insight. Hesitation was no longer an option. The path forward demanded full engagement, a willingness to confront the unknown, and the courage to make decisions whose consequences could ripple far beyond the immediate environment. With a shared glance, Raj, Dwayne, and Dee descended the staircase, the pulsing black and white lights fading into the darkness below, leaving only anticipation, tension, and the unspoken understanding that the most critical choices of the night were still to come. The staircase descended into a dimly lit corridor, the black and white lights above replaced by soft shadows that seemed to breathe with a life of their own. Raj felt a shiver crawl along his spine, a mixture of anticipation and unease, as if the very walls were observing, evaluating his every step. Dwayne bounded ahead, fearless as ever, his laughter echoing faintly through the narrow passage, while Dee stayed close to Raj, her hand brushing lightly against his arm, an anchor amid the enveloping uncertainty. "This is it," Dee whispered, her voice calm but intense. The final stage. Every lesson, every choice, every ripple of consequence you've encountered tonight converges here. Prepare yourself for challenges that will test more than skill. They will test character. Raj swallowed hard, aware of how each trial so far had already begun to alter his perception. The mirrored corridors, the interactive projections, the black and white cubes, and the responsive installations had all been training him, shaping his intuition, moral awareness, and capacity to act under pressure. And now, he sensed, the culmination would demand the integration of all those skills simultaneously, under conditions that would push his understanding of duality, consequence, and human behavior to its limits. The corridor ended abruptly at a massive arched doorway, framed by alternating panels of black and white that seemed to pulse with a subtle, hypnotic rhythm. Beyond the doorway lay a circular chamber, larger than any room they had encountered so far, its floor a seamless checkerboard that extended into shadow at the edges, its walls lined with abstract projections that shifted continuously, responding to movement, sound, and even unspoken intention. At the center of the room stood the masked figure, their presence commanding, almost monumental. Between them and Raj's group lay a series of pedestals, each supporting a cube or object similar to those encountered earlier, yet now more complex, more enigmatic, radiating subtle energy that Raj could feel through the soles of his feet. "Welcome," the masked figure intoned, voice reverberating across the chamber. "You have observed, acted, and learned. Now you must integrate these lessons. The challenges here will test perception, morality, courage, and consequence simultaneously. Choose, interact, and navigate carefully. Every action will ripple outward. Every hesitation will have weight." Raj felt a surge of adrenaline, mixed with the familiar tension of anticipation. The checkerboard floor seemed to stretch infinitely, each square a decision point, each movement an opportunity or risk. Dwayne immediately darted toward the nearest pedestal, reckless as always, while Dee placed a steadying hand on Raj's shoulder. "Think first, Act with awareness, but don't hesitate too long, she advised. Raj nodded, surveying the arrangement of objects. Each cube seemed to emit subtle pulses of light in response to proximity, as if attuned to intent rather than touch. He realized that, unlike previous trials, this stage required a higher level of awareness, a synthesis of observation, intuition, and moral judgment, because the consequences would be immediate, visible, and interconnected. He stepped toward a pedestal marked by contrasting black and white patterns, gently placing his hand near the cube. As he did, a subtle vibration coursed through the floor, and the projections along the walls responded, forming shifting sequences of shapes and symbols that corresponded to his choice. Dwayne, impatient and impulsive, had already activated another cube, triggering a chaotic cascade of lights, sounds, and movement across the floor, forcing Raj and Dee to adapt rapidly. Dee guided Raj's attention to subtle feedback in the projections, patterns in the chaos indicating sequences of cause and effect. Raj realized that the final stage demanded not only individual action, but dynamic collaboration. The interplay of their movements, decisions, and responses created an intricate, evolving system, each action cascading across the floor and walls, influencing subsequent outcomes in unpredictable ways. The masked figure moved silently around the perimeter, observing, occasionally gesturing with minimal movements that conveyed approval or caution. Raj began to sense the rhythm of the system, the hidden patterns, and the interdependence of choice and consequence. He instructed Dwayne subtly, coordinating movements to counteract chaotic responses and stabilize certain sequences, while Dee provided guidance on interpreting subtle moral and symbolic cues embedded within the projections and interactive elements. Minutes, or perhaps hours, passed in a concentrated haze of observation, action, and adaptation. Raj's awareness heightened. He noted micro-responses in Dwayne's movements, subtle shifts in the projections, and feedback from the cubes themselves. Each decision required balancing risk, intuition, moral judgment, and timing, and each misstep had immediate ripple effects. At one point, a particular cube pulsed more intensely, demanding focus. Raj realized it represented a moral dilemma, a choice between preserving a sequence that maintained stability or triggering a more unpredictable but potentially more enlightening outcome. His instincts screamed caution, yet he knew that avoidance would only limit understanding. He engaged the cube deliberately, feeling a surge of energy as the projections and floor responded, unfolding into a pattern of light and shadow that revealed interconnections he had not yet grasped. Dwayne cheered, partially from relief, partially from exhilaration at the chaos he had helped navigate, while Dee smiled subtly, acknowledging Raj's successful integration of observation, action, and ethical consideration. The masked figure approached once more, their voice calm but authoritative. "You are learning to see beyond immediate perception, to understand consequences, and to navigate duality. Yet the ultimate test remains. The next sequence requires confrontation with fear, ambiguity, and moral choice simultaneously. Success will demand full engagement, courage, and insight. Failure will not be punitive but instructive. Learning often comes through consequence." Raj felt the weight of the words. The night's journey had already pushed him to limits he had not anticipated, and he knew that the culmination would demand everything he had gained: insight into human behavior, the ability to balance chaos and order, the capacity to integrate observation, intuition, and moral judgment, and the courage to act decisively despite uncertainty. He glanced at Dwayne, whose energy remained infectious, and Dee, whose calm assurance provided guidance, and realized that collaboration and awareness of others' perspectives were as critical as his own internal comprehension. Stepping forward, he approached the final set of pedestals. Each cube was more intricate than before, adorned with multiple layers of black and white patterns and symbols, resonating subtly with pulses of light, sound, and vibration. Raj felt a sense of reverence mixed with apprehension, understanding intuitively that the cubes were both literal and symbolic representations of choice, consequence, and moral engagement. He selected a cube, his fingers brushing the textured surface. Instantly, the room responded. Lights shifted in coordinated pulses, projections realigned to form a network of interconnected symbols, and the floor illuminated in sequences that reflected the choices made by all three of them. Dwayne activated his own cube impulsively, triggering additional reactions that added layers of complexity to the unfolding pattern. Dee remained the stabilizing force, subtly coordinating their movements to maintain balance and coherence in the cascading interactions. Raj felt a profound realization. This final stage was not a puzzle to be solved, but a dynamic system to be navigated, a living representation of moral, ethical, and perceptual complexity. Choices were interdependent, outcomes were intertwined, and understanding emerged only through engaged participation, observation, and ethical discernment. As they continued to interact with the cubes, floor, and projections, Raj felt a transformation within himself. The black and white motif, once purely aesthetic, had become an experiential framework, a lens through which he could perceive duality, consequence, and moral ambiguity with heightened clarity. Each pulse of light, each vibration, each shifting projection conveyed layers of information, revealing the subtle interconnections between observation, action, and consequence. Eventually, the masked figure stepped forward, raising a hand. The room fell silent, the projections settling into a final configuration. You have integrated observation, action, intuition, and moral awareness. You have confronted fear and embraced uncertainty. This stage is complete, but remember, the lessons do not end with the night. The patterns extend beyond this space, beyond these walls. Life itself is a series of black and white interactions, consequences, and choices. Understanding them requires continual engagement and awareness. Raj exhaled, a mix of relief, exhilaration, and insight coursing through him. He glanced at Dwayne, still buzzing with energy, and Dee, whose calm smile reflected both approval and shared understanding. The journey through the labyrinthine installations, projections, and interactive challenges had revealed profound truths. The interconnectedness of choice and consequence, the interplay of observation and action, and the necessity of courage, ethical awareness, and collaboration in navigating complexity. As the masked figure stepped aside, revealing a final exit leading into a softly illuminated lounge area, Raj realized that the night was far from over. There would be reflection, conversation, and perhaps even unforeseen consequences, but the foundations had been laid. He had begun to see the patterns, understand the dualities, and engage with the complexity of choice in ways he had never anticipated. And as he followed Dwayne and Dee into the lounge, the black and white pulses of the previous rooms fading into soft ambient light, Raj felt a profound awareness. The night was not merely an event, but a living metaphor for life, morality, and human interconnection, and he was now fully immersed in its rhythm, ready to face whatever revelations awaited beyond the threshold. The lounge was a striking contrast to the labyrinthine intensity of the chambers they had just navigated. Soft, ambient light bathed the space, muted shadows flickering along the walls, giving the room a serene yet subtly charged atmosphere. The bass from the main hall was now distant, a muted heartbeat that seemed almost ceremonial, allowing Raj to exhale and absorb the significance of what he had just experienced. Dwayne flopped into a cushioned armchair, his energy momentarily spent, but his grin infectious. Man, that was insane. I don't even know what just happened, but I feel different, like I actually did something important. Dee, ever composed, smiled gently, her gaze scanning the room, noting the way participants from earlier installations filtered into the lounge, some exchanging observations, others simply reflecting silently. Important is one word for it, she said softly, her voice carrying the weight of experience. Transformative might be more accurate. What you've engaged with tonight is a simulation, a reflection, but the principles extend far beyond this space. Observation, choice, consequence, moral awareness. These are the same dimensions that govern life outside these walls. This night was preparation for seeing the unseen and navigating the unpredictable. Raj sank into the chair beside Dwayne, his mind still buzzing with the lessons, patterns, and moral dilemmas he had encountered. The black and white motif, once a simple aesthetic choice, had become an intricate framework for understanding duality, choice, and consequence. Each pulse of light, each reaction of the projections, each subtle micro-interaction among participants had reinforced a principle he was only beginning to internalize. Nothing existed in isolation, and every action, even the smallest, rippled outward, influencing outcomes in ways both subtle and profound. He looked around the lounge, observing others in a new light. Where before he might have seen casual engagement or social distraction, he now discerned layers of intention, hesitation, and adaptation, each interaction reflecting a conscious or unconscious negotiation of morality, risk, and consequence. Dwayne, ever the impulsive force, leaned back, eyes closing briefly as if replaying moments from the night. I loved it, man. I was just doing stuff, reacting to what I saw, following the cues, but it felt like I was part of something bigger. Like I wasn't just here for fun. Does that make sense? Raj nodded slowly. It does. I felt it too. Every movement, every choice, it's like the room itself responds and we respond to it and to each other, and it's all connected. I can't explain it fully, but it's like the night has been training us to notice the invisible threads connecting decisions and consequences. Dee interjected, her tone measured, thoughtful. Exactly, and that awareness is critical. Understanding these threads allows you to act deliberately, ethically, and strategically. But there's more to tonight than recognition. It's also about synthesis. You've learned through observation and trial, but now the challenge is internalization, to carry this awareness beyond the immediate, beyond these rooms, into real life. The lessons are subtle, but their effects are profound. Raj leaned back, absorbing the weight of her words. He realized she was framing the experience not as an entertainment exercise, but as a profound cognitive and moral development tool. The interplay of light and shadow, action and consequence, risk and intuition had forced him into a heightened state of awareness. Yet, Dee's emphasis on internalization suggested that understanding alone was insufficient. He needed to integrate insight into his perception, judgment, and behavior. Dwayne perked up, enthusiasm rekindled. So, it's not over yet? We're supposed to do what exactly? Take the cubes home? Write a report? Or is it like philosophical homework? Dee chuckled softly. Nothing so mundane. The engagement doesn't end with physical interaction. Your continued reflection, observation, and choices will reveal the real depth. What you've experienced tonight is a microcosm, a rehearsal of sorts. Life, like these rooms, presents sequences of interdependent choices, cascading consequences, and moral complexity. How you perceive and navigate those sequences defines the impact you have on the world and the awareness you carry within yourself. Raj felt the truth in her words resonate. He reflected on the complexity of the trials, the mirrored corridors that confronted him with multiplicity and self-perception. The mechanical puzzles had trained precision and adaptive strategy. The interactive projections demanded coordination and moral judgment. And the final chamber had synthesized observation, courage, intuition, and ethical discernment. Each stage had been an escalation, challenging not only his cognitive faculties, but his emotional awareness and moral reasoning. And now, in the quiet of the lounge, he could finally begin to integrate these lessons into coherent insight. He glanced at Dwayne, whose boundless energy seemed tempered now by reflection. Despite his natural impulsiveness, Dwayne had engaged meaningfully with the systems, learning through both trial and observation. Raj realized that even seemingly reckless choices had value. They revealed consequences, catalyzed adaptation, and contributed to collective understanding. Dee observed both of them, a faint smile hinting at satisfaction. Yet her eyes betrayed awareness that the night's most profound challenges were internal and far from concluded. Raj turned his attention to the other participants in the lounge, many of whom had encountered similar challenges and were now engaged in quiet reflection or conversation. The interactions, subtle as they were, seemed to ripple through the space, reinforcing the interconnected nature of perception, choice, and consequence. A group nearby was discussing the moral implications of certain puzzle outcomes, while another quietly analyzed patterns emerging in the projections and installations. Raj realized that even in the aftermath of the trials, observation remained active, the mind constantly processing and integrating, seeking understanding. Dwayne leaned toward Raj, lowering his voice conspiratorially. Man, I swear, some of those cubes I felt like they were alive. Like they knew what I was thinking and tested me on it. Did you feel that? Raj nodded, acknowledging the sensation. I did. It was more than just responsive design. It's as if every interaction was layered with intention and consequence, forcing awareness and deliberation. I think that's the point. It's not just the physical puzzles. It's the cognitive and moral engagement that matters. Dee smiled knowingly. Precisely. The systems are designed to evoke reflection, to challenge default assumptions, and to illuminate the spectrum of human behavior and moral reasoning. Your responses, emotional, cognitive, ethical, are all observed, in a sense, by the environment itself and by the choices of others. That interplay is the essence of tonight's lesson. Raj leaned back, letting the realization settle. He felt a subtle transformation within himself, a heightened sensitivity to nuance, consequence, and duality. Where once he might have reacted impulsively or observed passively, he now recognized the importance of integration, balancing insight, action, intuition, and ethical awareness. He could see the black and white motif not as a dichotomy, but as a spectrum, a dynamic interplay of choices, consequences, and moral considerations. A sudden movement across the room caught Raj's attention. The masked figure had entered the lounge, gliding silently between participants, observing interactions without overt intrusion. Their presence was a reminder that the night's lessons extended beyond the formal installations, that awareness, moral discernment, and adaptive engagement were continuous, not confined to specific stages. The figure paused briefly near Raj, and Dwayne, their eyes, visible through the mask, radiating an intensity that conveyed both evaluation and encouragement. Raj felt a surge of responsibility, an awareness that the engagement had shifted from structured challenges to ongoing observation and reflection. Dee leaned closer, her voice gentle but insistent. Notice the interactions around you, the subtle dynamics, the influence of choices, yours and others. This is the final layer of the night's work. Integration occurs not only within structured environments, but in observing and engaging with the broader system, people, patterns, and consequences. Raj nodded, understanding that the lounge, the ambient environment, and the ongoing interactions were as much a part of the trial as the installations. Awareness, empathy, and ethical discernment now extended to social observation, interaction, and reflective engagement. He turned to Dwayne, who had settled into a quieter, reflective state. It's a lot, Dwayne said, almost whispering. I thought I understood chaos before, but it's different. It's like everything I do has meaning I can't always see, and even the small things can ripple. Raj smiled faintly. Exactly. That's what tonight has shown us. The unseen connections, the consequences that extend beyond immediate perception. Observation, choice, and awareness are the tools to navigate it. Dee nodded, her gaze sweeping the room. And now, you carry this awareness forward. Tonight has been preparation, simulation, and reflection, but life itself is the ongoing application. Continue to observe, to act with awareness, and to consider the moral weight of your choices. The lessons extend far beyond this space. Raj exhaled, feeling a profound mix of relief, understanding, and anticipation. The night's journey, from the chaotic corridors, mechanical puzzles, interactive projections, and moral simulations to the reflective lounge, had transformed perception into awareness, action into insight, and observation into understanding. He realized that the black and white motif was now more than symbolic. It was a lens through which he could perceive duality, consequence, and the intricate interplay of human behavior. And as he sat in the lounge, the pulsing rhythm of the earlier spaces now replaced by calm ambient resonance, Raj understood that while the structured trials of the night had concluded, the true application of insight was continuous, dynamic, and pervasive, shaping perception, decision-making, and moral engagement far beyond the walls of the club. The lounge, though calm compared to the labyrinth of installations, held an undercurrent of tension and expectation that Raj could not ignore. Even as participants mingled or sat in reflective silence, there was a palpable awareness that the night's trials were not merely entertainment, but a living, breathing experiment in perception, choice, and consequence. Raj felt his senses sharpen, each subtle glance, slight gesture, or shift in posture communicating layers of information he had never noticed before. Dwayne, seated across from him, was unusually quiet, absently tracing patterns on the armrest of his chair, perhaps reflecting on impulsive choices he had made during the earlier exercises. Dee leaned back against the wall, serene as ever, but her eyes flickered occasionally to groups of participants, noting interactions with the precision of someone reading a complex social code. "It's different now," Raj whispered, almost to himself. "Before, I was reacting, learning, experimenting. Now, I feel observed, but in a way that requires me to observe continuously, anticipate, and integrate everything." Dee nodded. "Precisely. The final phase isn't a puzzle you solve. It's an awareness you cultivate. Everything you do, see, or say contributes to the ongoing pattern. Understanding the consequences, direct and indirect, and integrating your insights is the real challenge. The installations trained your perception, moral judgment, and collaboration, but the lounge test sustained awareness." Raj glanced at the other participants and realized he could see the faint echoes of the previous trials reflected in their posture and interactions. Some were quietly analyzing patterns in conversation, some were replaying sequences of choices in their minds, and others seemed to be calibrating their own moral compass in response to group dynamics. Dwayne broke the silence, his voice subdued yet tinged with excitement. "Man, I didn't think we'd get to this part. I thought it was over when we left the last room. But it's like the entire club, everyone, all of it, it's part of the system. I feel like I'm inside some living, breathing network." Raj nodded in agreement, feeling the accuracy of Dwayne's observation. The night had expanded beyond the physical installations into a social and psychological simulation, where every subtle action had the potential to create cascading effects. He understood that awareness, not immediate reaction, was now paramount. Dee's voice broke through again, calm and guiding. "Exactly. Observe without judgment first, then act. Not every ripple requires intervention, but every observation contributes to comprehension. Your ability to perceive hidden patterns and navigate the moral complexity of human interaction is being tested continuously." Raj's mind raced as he scanned the room, noticing nuances in behavior he might have overlooked earlier. The almost imperceptible hesitation before a handshake, a fleeting glance that suggested unspoken tension, a smile that masked moral uncertainty. Each subtle signal contributed to a broader understanding of patterns and interactions, reinforcing the lessons he had learned in the earlier trials. Suddenly, the masked figure appeared again, moving silently through the room, their presence commanding but unobtrusive. They stopped briefly beside Raj, their eyes locking onto his. Raj felt a surge of focus, the quiet intensity of the figure drawing his attention. "Awareness without integration is incomplete," the figure said softly, their voice resonant yet subtle. "You have learned to observe, to act, to judge, and to anticipate. Now you must synthesize. Your moral compass, your perception of patterns, your understanding of consequence, combine them. The final challenge requires continuous engagement, not single decisions." Do you understand? Raj nodded, though the weight of the responsibility was immense. The realization hit him that the night's exercises were only a microcosm, a framework for practicing skills that extended into the unstructured, unpredictable environment of human interaction. Each decision, each observation, each moral choice now carried the potential to ripple outward in unforeseen ways. Dwayne, leaning closer, whispered conspiratorially, "So it's like we're inside the simulation, but the simulation is everywhere, not just in the rooms? Man, this is trippy." Raj smiled faintly. Exactly. The installations, the cubes, the mirrors, they were preparation. Now the game is continuous. Observation, moral discernment, anticipation, and action, they're all ongoing. And unlike before, consequences aren't confined to a controlled environment. They're emergent, dynamic, unpredictable. Dee interjected, her calm voice offering guidance. Notice the interplay between individuals, subtle reactions to indirect actions, and the way patterns emerge in real time. Every interaction is a node in the network. Some outcomes are immediate, some delayed, some ripple subtly. The ability to integrate awareness, morality, and choice into continuous action is the essence of this phase. Raj focused, attuning his senses to micro-interactions around him. He noticed a young woman adjusting her posture after a brief glance at another participant, signaling subtle discomfort or uncertainty. A man across the room hesitated before speaking, his choice of words influenced by the observed reactions of others. Dwayne, noticing a pattern in one of the projections that shifted when participants moved near it, experimented with intervention, demonstrating that even impulsive actions could provide insight when integrated with observation. Raj recognized a profound truth. Awareness alone was insufficient without ethical judgment, courage, and the capacity to integrate insight into action. The night demanded that he navigate this network of human interactions thoughtfully, balancing observation with deliberate engagement. The masked figure moved again, guiding participants with silent gestures, their presence a constant reminder that observation and engagement were inseparable. Raj felt a surge of clarity as he realized that the night had cultivated not only perception and moral awareness, but also an intuitive understanding of emergent systems. The interactions, cascading effects, and unpredictable consequences mirrored complex networks outside the club, society, relationships, and even personal decisions. The ambient music shifted subtly, its rhythm echoing through the lounge, reinforcing the interconnectedness of action, consequence, and perception. Raj's attention returned to Dwayne, who had noticed a subtle interaction between two participants that triggered a series of small reactions affecting others nearby. Dwayne's impulsive intervention had inadvertently corrected a potential misalignment in the emergent pattern, demonstrating that awareness and action, even when unconventional, contributed to collective understanding. Dee observed both of them quietly, noting the integration of observation, moral discernment, and adaptive action. "You see it now," she said softly. "Awareness is iterative. Observation informs action. Action informs consequence, and consequence informs further observation. It's an ongoing feedback loop. Mastery is not a static endpoint. It's continuous integration." Raj's mind absorbed the implications. The lessons from the installations, projections, and final chamber were now being applied in an unstructured, social environment. The black and white motif, once symbolic, had become an experiential framework for perceiving moral complexity, pattern recognition, and the interplay of observation and consequence. He felt a subtle transformation within himself. Decisions that previously would have been instinctive or impulsive were now informed by layered awareness, ethical consideration, and anticipation of ripple effects. A sudden, unexpected interaction occurred nearby. A participant misinterpreted another's intentions, resulting in a minor social ripple. Raj observed carefully, noting the layers of cause and effect, the ethical dimensions of perception and misperception, and the opportunities for intervention that could guide the system toward coherence without imposing undue control. Dwayne noticed it too and instinctively moved to mediate, balancing his impulsive nature with observation and ethical judgment. Dee's eyes lit with quiet approval, recognizing that the integration of insight into action was occurring naturally, a culmination of the night's layered exercises. Raj realized that the final phase, continuous awareness and integrated action, was both the most subtle and the most profound. Unlike the structured installations, this stage demanded not discrete decisions, but sustained engagement, requiring him to synthesize perception, ethical judgment, and adaptive intervention in real time. Each participant's choices became part of an emergent system, where the smallest ripple could influence larger patterns, and understanding required attunement to subtlety, context, and moral complexity. The masked figure approached Raj again, their presence commanding yet non-intrusive. "You have integrated observation, moral judgment, and action," they said quietly. "Now, continue to navigate the emergent patterns. Understand that uncertainty, ambiguity, and imperfection are part of the system. True mastery is iterative, adaptive, and reflective. Observe continuously. Engage wisely. Act with awareness. And remember, every ripple you create, every choice you make, contributes to the broader network of consequences. The lessons of the night extend beyond this space, into the unseen, interconnected world around you." Raj exhaled, feeling the weight and depth of the statement. The night had transformed perception into integrated awareness, action into ethical engagement, and observation into continuous moral and social cognition. The black and white framework had evolved into a lens for understanding complexity, duality, and interconnection. He glanced at Dwayne, whose energy had shifted into focused engagement, and Dee, calm and observant, and realized that the true challenge and the true reward of the night was ongoing. Continuous awareness, moral integration, and ethical action in a world where choices, both subtle and profound, perpetually ripple outward. The lounge's ambient glow shifted subtly as Raj absorbed the weight of the masked figure's words, each flicker of light a reminder that perception was no longer passive. The night had expanded beyond installations, puzzles, and projections. It had become a living, continuous network of observation, action, and moral consequence. Raj felt his heartbeat synchronize with the subtle rhythms of the space, as if he were attuned to the underlying patterns connecting everyone in the room. Even Dwayne, who had initially thrived on chaos and impulsive action, now moved with a quiet attentiveness, responding to cues that might have gone unnoticed before. Dee remained the guiding presence, a calm nexus amidst the emergent interactions, her observations sharp yet unobtrusive, nudging the flow of events without imposing control. Raj's eyes scanned the room, noting the micro-interactions that now carried amplified significance. A participant shifted slightly in response to another's gaze, prompting a chain of subtle reactions that moved across the room like ripples in water. Another group engaged in whisper discussion, their words altering body language, postures, and subsequent interactions with surprising speed. Each ripple revealed layers of interdependence, demonstrating the profound impact of awareness and choice in a social and moral context. "It's like everything is connected," Raj whispered to Dwayne, who nodded, eyes wide with recognition. "Every action, even tiny ones, affects everything else. And if you don't notice, you can miss the consequences or make them worse." Dee added, her voice calm and deliberate, precisely. "What you are witnessing is the emergent complexity of human interaction. Observation alone is insufficient. Integration, ethical discernment, and adaptive action are required. You have learned these principles in structured environments. Now, they manifest dynamically, unpredictably, and interdependently." Raj felt the weight of her words settle in his consciousness. The black and white motif, once a visual guide in the installations, had transformed into an ethical and perceptual framework. Light and shadow, contrast and nuance, right and wrong, choice and consequence. These were no longer abstractions, but tangible dynamics influencing the world around him. The ambient music shifted, a low, resonant hum threading through the room, its rhythm almost imperceptible yet profoundly affecting. Raj felt it resonate through his chest, aligning with the undercurrents of human interaction and the emergent patterns he had begun to perceive. Each pulse seemed to highlight interconnections he had not yet consciously registered, subtle networks of cause and effect, moral and ethical implications, and the interplay of perception and action. Dwayne suddenly pointed toward a cluster of participants whose body language suggested hesitation, uncertainty, or conflict. "Look at them," he said, voice low but urgent. "They're off. Something's happening, and if we don't respond carefully, it could cascade into chaos." Raj observed, his awareness finely tuned. He noticed a series of micro-actions, a glance, a pause in speech, a slight retreat of posture, all subtly interwoven and mutually reinforcing. He realized that the group was on the brink of creating a ripple with potentially disruptive consequences. "We need to intervene carefully," Raj said, aligning his thoughts with the principles he had internalized. Not to control, but to guide. Observation first, then action informed by ethical and social insight. Dee nodded approvingly, signaling that Raj had correctly interpreted the scenario. Together, they approached the hesitant cluster, their presence calm and steady. Raj spoke softly, framing guidance in the form of questions rather than directives. "What are you noticing about each other? How are your actions influencing the responses you see?" His words encouraged reflection without imposing a solution, allowing the participants to perceive their own influence and adjust. Accordingly, Dwayne, despite his natural impulsiveness, followed Raj's lead, using energy and charisma to draw attention without overwhelming the situation. The group gradually stabilized, micro-reactions recalibrated, and the ripple of potential conflict diffused into coordinated interaction. Raj felt a surge of satisfaction, tempered by the awareness that every action, even one intended to help, carried moral and social weight. Dee spoke again, her tone reflective. "This is the essence of the final stage. Awareness, ethical integration, and adaptive engagement occur continuously, in real time. Success is not a single moment, but a sustained process, responding to emergent complexity with understanding and judgment." Raj absorbed the lesson, realizing it extended far beyond the night's physical environment. Each ripple in the lounge mirrored the cascading effects of decisions and actions in life itself. Observing, choosing, and integrating awareness, courage, and morality were not skills confined to controlled exercises. They were fundamental to navigating the unpredictable, interconnected realities of human experience. A subtle shift in the room caught Raj's attention. A participant's hesitation led to a minor misalignment in group interaction, producing a new series of ripples. Dwayne, noticing the micro-reaction, instinctively moved to engage, integrating observation with adaptive response. Raj, attuned to the patterns, guided both the participant and Dwayne subtly, reinforcing ethical decision-making and highlighting the consequences of action versus inaction. Dee observed silently, noting the real-time integration of perception, moral reasoning, and responsive behavior. Raj felt a profound recognition. The night's structured installations were merely scaffolding for the emergent, continuous practice of these skills. Observation, moral awareness, and adaptive action were now inseparable, flowing seamlessly across perception, interaction, and consequence. The masked figure reappeared, moving silently through the room, their presence both commanding and subtle. Raj felt a heightened sense of accountability, aware that the figure's attention, though unobtrusive, represented both oversight and opportunity. "You are witnessing interconnected systems in real time." The figure's voice resonated, subtle yet compelling. Observation alone is insufficient. Action carries moral weight, and choice creates consequences that ripple unpredictably. Mastery lies in integration, perceiving the network, understanding ethical implications, and navigating emergent outcomes with awareness and courage. Raj nodded, the significance of the lesson resonating fully. He recognized that true mastery was iterative, adaptive, and continuous, a synthesis of perception, ethical judgment, and intentional engagement. Each ripple, microreaction, and interaction was both a test and an opportunity to integrate insight into meaningful action. The room shifted imperceptibly, a new pattern of ambient light and sound threading through the lounge. Participants adjusted subtly, responding to emergent cues, their collective behavior reflecting a complex, adaptive system. Raj observed, analyzing, and when necessary, engaging with deliberate, ethically informed interventions. Dwayne, growing increasingly attuned, balanced instinct and observation, contributing energy while maintaining awareness of consequence. Dee's presence remained a guiding influence, reinforcing integration without dominating, exemplifying the balance of insight, ethical judgment, and adaptive action. Raj felt a subtle transformation within himself. His perception of micro-interactions had sharpened, his moral awareness deepened, and his capacity for integrated, adaptive action had expanded. The black and white motif, once a symbolic aesthetic, had evolved into a cognitive and ethical lens through which he now understood human interaction, consequence, and emergent complexity. A minor disruption occurred. A participant misinterpreted another's intentions, triggering a ripple of hesitation, conflict, and uncertainty. Raj observed carefully, noting the potential for escalation. With subtle guidance, reflective questions, and adaptive intervention, he helped the group recalibrate, demonstrating the integration of observation, moral judgment, and action in real time. Dee's eyes flickered with quiet approval, signaling that Raj's engagement reflected the culmination of the night's lessons. The masked figure moved toward the center of the lounge once more, their voice resonating gently. You have witnessed, acted, and integrated. The emergent patterns you navigate here are a mirror of the world beyond these walls. Continuous observation, ethical engagement, and adaptive action are the hallmarks of awareness. Remember, the black and white is never static. Choices are never isolated. Consequences ripple, and awareness must remain continuous. Raj exhaled, feeling the full weight of the night's journey. The structured installations, puzzles, projections, and chambers had provided lessons in perception, moral reasoning, and coordination. The lounge, as a dynamic, emergent environment, now tested continuous integration, awareness, and ethically informed action. Each choice, each intervention, each observation had significance, contributing to patterns both visible and subtle. Dwayne, sitting back with a reflective grin, whispered, "Man, I get it now. It's not just the cubes or the lights or the puzzles. It's us interacting, reacting, learning continuously. Every move matters, even the small ones." Raj nodded, the truth of Dwayne's words resonating. Exactly. Observation, ethical awareness, and adaptive action. It's all continuous. The lessons extend far beyond this room, far beyond tonight. The night was just preparation for engaging with life's complexity. Dee's calm voice concluded the reflection. Awareness is iterative. Integration is continuous. Moral judgment, courage, and action are inseparable. The night has provided experience, insight, and reflection. The application extends into all spheres of life, where consequences ripple beyond immediate perception, and mastery is measured not by control, but by understanding, ethical engagement, and adaptive action. As the lounge settled into soft silence, the ambient hum weaving through the room, Raj felt a profound clarity. The night's journey, from mirrored corridors, mechanical puzzles, interactive projections, and final chambers to the reflective lounge, had cultivated perception, ethical awareness, and adaptive engagement. The black and white motif had become a lens for understanding duality, complexity, and interconnection, shaping both cognition and moral perception. and as he sat between Dwayne and Dee, observing the subtle interactions around him, Raj recognized the ongoing responsibility and opportunity inherent in continuous awareness, to perceive, to integrate, to act ethically, and to understand the far-reaching consequences of even the smallest choice in the living, interconnected network of human experience. The lounge gradually grew quieter as participants settled into their own reflections, yet an undercurrent of anticipation remained, a subtle awareness that the night's lessons were far from complete. Raj leaned back in his chair, allowing himself a moment to process the complexity of what he had experienced. The structured trials, the mirrored corridors, mechanical puzzles, interactive projections, and the final chamber had trained his perception, his moral awareness, and his capacity to act under pressure. But now, in the lounge, the exercises had evolved into a living simulation of social and moral complexity, where every choice, every glance, and every hesitation rippled outward into emergent patterns of consequence. Dwayne, unusually subdued, traced his fingers along the edge of the armrest, occasionally glancing at other participants as if reading invisible lines connecting thought, action, and reaction. "I can't believe how intense this is," he murmured. "I mean, it's just a lounge, right? But everything feels alive. Every move I make, every little thing seems to matter more than I thought it would." Dee's calm presence beside Raj provided a stabilizing counterpoint. "Exactly," she said softly. "The lounge is a microcosm of emergent interaction. Observation, ethical integration, and adaptive action continue here in real time. It's no longer about solving puzzles. It's about perceiving the network, understanding influence, and acting responsibly within it." Raj felt a surge of awareness, noticing subtleties in behavior he had overlooked moments before. A quick glance exchanged between two participants, a slight hesitation before movement, the way posture shifted in response to perceived intent. Each micro-interaction held layers of information, revealing hidden networks of consequence and influence. He realized that the night had transformed him into both observer and participant, engaged simultaneously in perception, interpretation, and ethically informed action. "It's like everything we did before was just preparation," Raj whispered. "Now it's all about awareness and integration. The actions aren't separate, they're connected." Dwayne nodded slowly, his usual impulsiveness tempered by reflection. "Yeah, and even my mistakes have meaning. They show me consequences, reveal patterns, they force me to pay attention." Dee smiled faintly. "Correct. Every action, intentional or reactive, contributes to emergent outcomes. Mastery is not control. It's understanding, integration, and ethical engagement. Continuous awareness is the true challenge." Raj focused on a small cluster of participants whose micro-interactions had begun to destabilize a larger pattern in the room. A subtle misalignment in conversation had created ripples. Small gestures, brief silences, and hesitant glances began propagating outward, influencing adjacent interactions. Raj, attuned to these dynamics, observed carefully, identifying the nodes of influence and potential points of intervention. Dwayne, noticing the misalignment as well, instinctively engaged, though his approach was bold and unrefined. Raj guided him with subtle cues and whispered suggestions, balancing observation, ethical judgment, and adaptive action. The ripple began to stabilize, demonstrating the profound integration of perception and intervention. Dee's approving glance confirmed Raj's growing mastery of continuous engagement within emergent systems. The ambient hum of the lounge, subtle and continuous, resonated with the underlying patterns of interaction, reinforcing the awareness of interconnected consequences. Raj noticed how even minor interventions could cascade through the room, producing unexpected and sometimes enlightening outcomes. The lessons of the night, originally confined to controlled installations, now unfolded dynamically, highlighting the inseparability of observation, moral awareness, and responsive action. He understood that this phase was not about success or failure in traditional terms. but about the ongoing practice of conscious engagement within a complex, adaptive environment. A sudden shift in the room drew Raj's attention. A participant misinterpreted another's intent, producing a ripple of subtle tension that propagated across several interactions. Dwayne, recognizing the disruption, moved quickly to mediate, while Raj observed and provided nuanced guidance. Dee's presence ensured that intervention was measured, ethically sound, and contextually appropriate. The ripple stabilized, illustrating the principles of adaptive engagement and moral discernment in real time. Raj felt a profound insight crystallize. Mastery of complex systems, social, moral, or otherwise, requires continuous awareness, the ability to perceive subtle signals, and the courage to act with ethical intentionality. Observation and understanding alone were insufficient. Integration into adaptive, morally informed action was essential. The masked figure moved once more through the lounge, their presence both commanding and unobtrusive. Their eyes locked onto Raj briefly, conveying recognition of his growing awareness and integration. Observation and action are continuous, interconnected, and morally weighted. The figure intoned softly. You have navigated structured challenges, and now you engage with emergent complexity. The black and white framework remains, but it evolves dynamically. Your awareness, judgment, and courage must adapt continuously. Every interaction, every choice, and every hesitation contributes to the unfolding pattern of consequence. Raj exhaled slowly, the significance of the statement resonating deeply. The night's experiences had transcended structured exercises, evolving into a continuous simulation of interconnected human dynamics, moral ambiguity, and emergent consequence. Each ripple, microreaction, and interaction now required sustained attention, ethical judgment, and adaptive action. Dwayne leaned toward Raj, whispering, "Man, I get it now. The night isn't about solving puzzles or winning. It's about seeing, understanding, and acting wisely in a system that never stops changing." Raj nodded, feeling the profound truth of Dwayne's words. He observed the room, noting patterns, micro-interactions, and emergent consequences. Every glance, every gesture, every choice contributed to a living, adaptive network. Awareness, integration, and ethical engagement were no longer optional. They were continuous, iterative, and essential. Dee spoke, her voice calm and deliberate. The lessons of the night extend far beyond this space. Awareness without action is incomplete. Action without ethical integration is reckless. Observation, judgment, courage, and adaptation are inseparable. Continuous engagement is the path to mastery, not domination. Raj absorbed her words, realizing that the lounge had become a microcosm of life itself. Interconnected, unpredictable, morally complex, and emergent. Every interaction, no matter how minor, carried the potential to ripple outward, influencing outcomes in subtle and profound ways. He understood that mastery was not about controlling outcomes, but about perceiving patterns, integrating ethical judgment, and engaging with adaptive, morally informed action. A subtle disturbance occurred nearby. A participant's hesitation led to a chain of minor misinterpretations, producing tension and uncertainty across several interactions. Raj, Dwayne, and Dee observed and intervened carefully, applying the principles learned throughout the night: observation, ethical integration, and adaptive action. The ripple gradually stabilized, reinforcing the emergent patterns and illustrating the dynamic interplay of choice, consequence, and perception. Raj felt a profound sense of accomplishment, tempered by awareness that the process was continuous. The night's lessons were not confined to installations or structured exercises. They extended into the ongoing, emergent network of interactions, decisions, and consequences. The black and white motif, once symbolic, had evolved into an operational framework for perceiving duality, consequence, and interconnection in real time. The masked figure moved to the center of the lounge, their presence radiating calm authority. "You have engaged, acted, and integrated," they said softly. "Now, understand that awareness and ethical action are perpetual. Observation informs action, action informs consequence, and consequence informs observation. Mastery is iterative, adaptive, and continuous. Carry these lessons beyond this space into the unseen, interconnected world where choices ripple, consequences unfold, and awareness shapes the emergent system of life." Raj exhaled deeply, the gravity and clarity of the night's experiences settling into his consciousness. The structured installations had trained perception, moral awareness, and strategic action. The lounge had transformed those lessons into continuous, real-time application within an emergent, dynamic system. He now understood that awareness, ethical judgment, and adaptive engagement were inseparable, ongoing, and necessary for navigating the complexity of interconnected human experience. Dwayne, still seated beside him, whispered, "I feel like I see it now. Every little thing matters, and even mistakes are lessons if you notice them." Dee smiled, her eyes reflecting approval and quiet satisfaction. Precisely. The night was preparation, reflection, and practice. The application continues indefinitely, in every interaction, choice, and observation. You carry the black and white framework within you now, not as a limitation, but as a lens for perceiving and engaging with complexity, consequence, and moral ambiguity. Raj felt a deep, transformative clarity. The black and white motif was no longer merely aesthetic. It was cognitive, ethical, and perceptual. Observation, judgment, courage, and adaptive action have been integrated, not as discrete skills, but as a continuous, emergent practice that extended far beyond the confines of the club. As the lounge settled into quiet reflection, Raj realized the profound implication. Mastery was not a destination, but a process, a continuous engagement with interconnected patterns, ethical complexity, and emergent consequence. Every interaction, every micro-choice, and every observation now mattered. And as he watched participants continue subtle interactions, adapting, responding, and observing, Raj understood that the night had transformed not only perception and moral awareness, but the very framework through which he would engage with the world. The lounge's ambient hum had settled into a steady, almost meditative rhythm, yet the undercurrent of interconnected energy persisted. Raj felt it like a pulse beneath the calm, a continuous reminder that the lessons of the night extended beyond perception into a living, dynamic system of consequences, choices, and ethical engagement. Every glance, every shift of weight, every subtle interaction between participants contributed to the evolving network of influence, a web that Raj now understood as a microcosm of life itself. Dwayne, still beside him, seemed unusually reflective. The usual impulsiveness had softened into measured attention. He observed micro-expressions, body language, and subtle cues, integrating awareness into instinct, a balance that Raj recognized as a key takeaway from the night's exercises. "Man," Dwayne said quietly, almost in awe, "I never thought a lounge could feel like it's alive. Like we're all part of a bigger system, and every little thing we do affects everyone else, even if we don't see it immediately." Raj nodded, feeling the resonance of his friend's words. Exactly. The installations were training grounds, but this is the test of integration. Continuous perception, ethical judgment, and adaptive action are all required. We've learned to see patterns and anticipate consequences, but here in real time, every choice ripples outward, subtle yet impactful. Dee, observing both of them, added calmly, "The challenge now is sustained engagement. Awareness is iterative, action is morally weighted, and consequence is emergent. Understanding emerges from observation, reflection, and careful intervention. This is the ultimate stage of integration, the practice of continuous moral and social cognition." Raj felt a surge of clarity as he surveyed the room. Participants were engaged in their own subtle micro-interactions, many unaware of how profoundly connected their actions were to the surrounding network. A slight hesitation here, a micro-glance there, all propagated ripple effects that altered the emergent patterns of engagement. Raj recognized that even small interventions could stabilize or destabilize the system, and that ethical judgment was essential to navigate effectively without imposing undue control. He observed a participant subtly adjusting their stance in response to another's expression of uncertainty. The microreaction triggered a cascading chain of responses, slight shifts in posture, subtle modulations of voice, and adjustments in social spacing, all contributing to the emergent pattern. Raj leaned closer to Dwayne, whispering, "See that? It's incredible. A single hesitation creates layers of consequence we almost never notice. That's why observation, awareness, and ethically informed action are so important." Dwayne nodded, eyes wide. "Yeah, and if we do nothing, the pattern can go off track. But even when we intervene, it has to be measured, careful. Every choice matters, man." Dee's gaze swept over the lounge, observing participants as she continued. "Integration is key. Observation informs action. Action informs consequence. And consequence informs further observation. You are practicing real-time adaptation, ethical engagement, and moral awareness in a live network. This is where structured lessons translate into emergent application." Raj's awareness sharpened as he attuned to micro-interactions across the lounge. He noticed subtle shifts. A participant's nervous glance toward a group that had just completed a conversation, another participant's hesitation before offering a handshake, and a third slight change in tone in response to these unspoken cues. Each micro-event contained information, offering insight into interconnections, ethical dimensions, and potential consequences. Recognizing patterns, Raj acted gently, guiding interactions without imposing, using reflective questions and subtle intervention to stabilize the system. Dwayne followed suit, his energetic instincts tempered by awareness, integrating responsiveness with observation. Dee's eyes reflected quiet approval, signaling that Raj and Dwayne were embodying the night's lessons in real time. The ambient music shifted, harmonics threading subtly through the room, resonating with emergent human patterns. Raj felt a new depth of awareness. Perception, judgment, and action were inseparable. Even the slightest ripple contained ethical weight, and continuous integration was required to navigate the emergent network effectively. A brief disturbance occurred. A participant misread another's intent, triggering hesitation and subtle tension across several nearby interactions. Raj observed, analyzed, and intervened, guiding the ripple toward constructive resolution. Dwayne, learning from the moment, acted with intuition informed by observation and moral awareness, contributing to stabilization. Dee's subtle acknowledgement confirmed that the integration of insight, ethical judgment, and adaptive action was successful. The masked figure appeared once more, moving silently through the lounge, their presence commanding yet unobtrusive. Raj felt their gaze, a mix of evaluation and affirmation, emphasizing the continuous nature of the night's lessons. You have engaged in observation, reflection, and ethically informed action. The figure's voice resonated softly. Now understand, mastery is iterative and continuous. Observation informs action, action informs consequence, and consequence informs ongoing perception. Patterns ripple through interconnected systems. Awareness must be sustained. Ethical engagement must remain active. Integration is perpetual. Raj absorbed the gravity of the message. The night's experiences were not concluded. They were ongoing, a continuous practice of perception, moral judgment, and adaptive engagement within emergent systems. Structured lessons had evolved into real-time application, where even small microactions had far-reaching consequences. The black and white motif had transformed into an operational lens, allowing Raj to perceive moral and perceptual duality, patterns of influence, and the weight of choice in human interactions. Subtle shifts in the lounge continued to provide insight, A participant paused mid-gesture, prompting a cascade of reactions that revealed hidden social dynamics. Another participant's hesitancy generated unspoken tension that rippled outward. Raj's observation, reflection, and measured action influenced these ripples constructively, demonstrating ethical integration in real time. Dwayne, increasingly attuned to the emergent network, balanced intuition and awareness, contributing energy, responsiveness, and insight to stabilize interactions. Dee's presence remained a guiding influence, ensuring interventions were ethical, reflective, and adaptive. Raj recognized that the night's lessons extended beyond technical skill. They were about sustained engagement in morally and socially complex systems. Awareness, observation, judgment, courage, and adaptive action were inseparable, flowing continuously across perception, interaction, and consequence. The masked figure moved again to the center of the lounge. Observation, integration, and adaptive ethical action are ongoing, they intoned. You are witnessing the living network of human behavior. Microactions ripple, choices compound, and ethical awareness shapes outcomes. Mastery is continuous. Engage thoughtfully. Act with courage. Observe with intention. Let each ripple inform the next. Understanding that awareness without action is incomplete, and action without ethical judgment is perilous. Raj felt a profound sense of clarity and purpose. The structured trials had provided insight into perception, moral awareness, and adaptive response. The lounge demonstrated emergent application, revealing that mastery was not a destination, but a continuous practice. Observation, ethical engagement, and responsive action were inseparable, flowing through every interaction, every choice, and every consequence. Dwayne whispered to Raj, "Man, it's like we're part of something alive. Every little thing matters, and the lessons never stop. I get it now. Even mistakes are opportunities if we notice them and act." Dee smiled subtly, reinforcing the point. Yes, awareness, judgment, and ethical action are continuous. The night has been preparation. Application extends into all areas of life. Observe, integrate, act responsibly, and remember that every choice contributes to the emergent system of consequences. Raj exhaled, feeling the weight and clarity of the experience. The black and white motif was now fully internalized, not as a visual aesthetic, but as a framework for understanding duality, ethical complexity, and the interconnected web of human interaction. Each ripple mattered. Every choice carried weight, and mastery was the continuous integration of perception, ethical judgment, and adaptive action. The lounge settled into soft silence, yet the pulse of emergent interaction remained perceptible. Raj, Dwayne, and Dee continued to observe, reflect, and act subtly, embodying the night's lessons in continuous, dynamic engagement. Awareness had become perpetual, moral judgment inseparable from action, and the responsibility of choice ever present. And as the evening deepened, Raj recognized a profound truth. The night was not merely a series of exercises, but a living simulation, a reflection of life's complexity, and a training ground for ethical, perceptual, and adaptive mastery that would extend indefinitely into the interconnected reality outside the walls. The ambient light in the lounge dimmed imperceptibly, a subtle cue signaling a transition not in space but in perception. Raj felt it as a shift in consciousness, a gentle tightening of focus that made every glance, gesture, and ripple of interaction more salient, more meaningful. He realized that what had begun as a night of puzzles, projections, and mechanical exercises had evolved into a profound rehearsal of life's intricate networks, where microactions influenced emergent patterns and ethical judgment was inseparable from observation. Dwayne, unusually still, leaned back in his chair, eyes scanning the room as if tracing invisible threads connecting each participant. His usual impulsivity had given way to measured observation, a tangible echo of the night's structured lessons now applied to a live, dynamic system. "Raj," he murmured, almost to himself, I never knew everything we do, even the smallest thing, can affect everyone else without us realizing it. And if you're not aware, man, it can go wrong really fast. Raj nodded, attuning his attention to the subtleties of interaction. A slight hesitation by one participant created a ripple that spread through a nearby conversation. A subtle shift of posture altered the dynamics of another small cluster. He observed with precision, noting micro-reactions, ethical implications, and potential consequences. Every choice, whether intentional or subconscious, now held measurable weight in the emergent network. Dee's calm presence provided grounding. "You are now engaged in the final phase of integration," she said softly, her voice measured yet compelling. "Awareness, observation, judgment, and ethical action are not sequential. They are simultaneous. Patterns emerge, ripple, and transform continuously. Your responsibility is continuous engagement, not reaction alone. Mastery is iterative, adaptive, and morally informed." Raj absorbed her words, understanding that the night's exercises were only a scaffold. True practice lay in real-time integration, perceiving micro-patterns, anticipating emergent consequences, and acting with ethical discernment and courage. Dwayne's gaze followed Raj's, and he whispered, "So, even mistakes matter if we notice them, understand them, and act." "Exactly," Raj replied. "Mistakes are data, opportunities for reflection, and leverage for ethical adaptation. Observation, awareness, and intervention form a continuous loop, and the quality of engagement depends on moral and cognitive integration." Across the lounge, micro-interactions produced subtle waves of cause and effect. A brief miscommunication in one group propagated hesitation, uncertainty, and adjustment in several nearby clusters. Raj analyzed the patterns, identifying nodes where intervention could stabilize and guide outcomes ethically. Dwayne, guided by instinct refined through awareness, contributed energy and response, complementing Raj's deliberate analysis. Dee's eyes tracked the emergent dynamics, her subtle gestures and calm presence nudging participants without direct interference. Raj recognized the profound lesson. Ethical action within complex systems is as much about restraint and observation as it is about intervention. Overreach could destabilize. Timidity could allow chaos to proliferate. The balance between awareness, courage, and ethical judgment was continuous, iterative, and dynamic. The masked figure moved once more through the room, their presence both commanding and invisible, like a reminder that observation extended beyond conscious focus. Their voice, soft yet resonant, conveyed authority and insight. "You have engaged in perception, ethical judgment, and adaptive action. Now understand that the system is continuous. Observation informs action, action informs consequence, and consequence informs observation. Mastery is perpetual, and a network of influence is emergent. Ethical awareness is not optional. It is inseparable from engagement. Remember, micro-actions ripple, choices accumulate, and patterns emerge beyond immediate perception." Raj exhaled slowly, the weight of the night's lessons crystallizing. He observed the room as a dynamic system, each micro-action contributing to emergent outcomes. Ethical integration, adaptive engagement, and sustained awareness were inseparable from effective participation. The black and white motif, once symbolic, had evolved into a lens for perceiving duality, consequence, and interconnected human networks. A subtle disruption occurred nearby. A participant misread social cues, producing tension and hesitation that radiated outward. Raj noted the micro-ripples, anticipating potential escalation. He engaged gently, guiding both the participant and the surrounding group with reflective questions and measured action. Dwayne mirrored the approach, balancing intuition and observation. Dee's approving glance confirmed successful stabilization, illustrating the application of the night's lessons in real time. Raj felt a profound insight. Life's emergent systems, much like the lounge, are composed of countless micro-actions and micro-decisions, each carrying potential consequences. Observation without ethical integration is insufficient. Action without moral awareness is reckless. Mastery arises from continuous, adaptive engagement, integrating perception, judgment, and ethical responsibility. Subtle shifts continued to present opportunities for insight. Hesitation, micro-expression, or a pause in conversation generated ripples that illuminated hidden networks, ethical dilemmas, and emergent patterns. Raj engaged, observed, and reflected, guiding outcomes with careful intervention. Dwayne, increasingly attuned to the dynamic environment, contributed energy, attention, and intuition, reinforcing emergent stability without imposing control. D remained the stabilizing presence, ensuring interventions were ethically informed, reflective, and measured. The room, though visually unchanged, had become a living simulation of moral, perceptual, and cognitive complexity. Raj understood that the night's lessons extended beyond the physical space. They were a training ground for sustained awareness and ethical engagement in all spheres of life. Observation, moral judgment, and adaptive action were continuous, iterative, and inseparable. The masked figure's presence reminded him that accountability extended beyond immediate perception. The emergent system was alive, interconnected, and morally weighted. Raj noted another ripple. A participant hesitated in response to another's subtle cue, producing a cascade of minor adjustments across multiple interactions. Raj's careful guidance, combined with Dwayne's energy and insight, stabilized the pattern, illustrating emergent ethical engagement. D's subtle acknowledgement confirmed that integration was effective. The ambient hum shifted, threading through the lounge as if echoing the emergent network, resonating with each micro-interaction, each ripple of consequence, and each ethically informed action. Raj felt a deep internal clarity. Observation, judgment, courage, and adaptive action were now inseparable in real time, forming a continuous feedback loop of perception and consequence. The black and white motif had evolved into a cognitive and ethical framework, illuminating duality, moral complexity, and the interconnection of human choices. The masked figure moved again, addressing the room in quiet resonance. You have engaged, reflected, and acted. Now understand. Awareness, ethical integration, and adaptive action are perpetual. Patterns ripple, consequences emerge, and observation informs judgment continuously. Microactions matter. Choices accumulate. Ethical awareness shapes outcomes beyond immediate perception. Mastery is iterative, adaptive, and continuous. Raj exhaled deeply, internalizing the cumulative weight of a night's journey. The structured installations had trained perception, cognition, and moral reasoning. The lounge had revealed emergent application, continuous, dynamic engagement with interconnected, morally weighted systems. Awareness, judgment, and action were inseparable, flowing seamlessly through each micro-interaction. He recognized that the night was not an isolated experience. It was a rehearsal for life itself, where every choice, micro-action, and observation rippled outward, shaping complex, emergent outcomes. Dwayne, whispering beside him, said, "I get it, every little thing matters. Even our mistakes are lessons if we notice them and act carefully." Dee's calm presence reinforced the point. Yes, observation, ethical integration, and adaptive engagement are continuous. Life is emergent, morally complex, and interconnected. The black and white framework you carry is no longer visual, is cognitive, ethical, and perceptual. Apply it consciously and continuously. Raj exhaled once more, feeling the night's transformation crystallize within him. The black and white motif was now an internalized lens for perceiving moral duality, interconnection, and consequence. Mastery was continuous, iterative, and ethically informed, extending beyond the lounge into the broader, emergent network of life's interactions, choices, and outcomes. And as he observed the subtle interactions unfolding around him, he understood the enduring responsibility and opportunity to perceive, integrate, act ethically, and navigate the living system of human connection with continuous awareness. The lounge had fallen into a quiet rhythm, yet beneath the apparent calm, the energy of observation, consequence, and emergent interaction pulsed relentlessly. Raj felt it like a living current, connecting every participant, every glance, and every subtle gesture into a continuous network of cause and effect. He understood now that the entire night, from mirrored corridors and mechanical puzzles to projections, final chambers, and this reflective lounge, was an unfolding continuum, a single sustained exercise in awareness, ethical engagement, and adaptive action. Dwayne, seated beside him, maintained an unusual stillness, eyes tracing the invisible lines of interaction that connected participants into a delicate web. The usual impulsiveness was tempered by a dawning appreciation of emergent complexity, and he whispered, almost in awe, "Raj, it's like everything we do is part of this system. Every little move matters, even the ones we don't notice. And if we ignore them, the patterns can break." Raj nodded, feeling the resonance of Dwayne's insight. Exactly. The installations prepared us, the chambers tested us, and now this is where integration is continuous. Observation, ethical discernment, and adaptive engagement must flow seamlessly. Microactions ripple outward. Every choice has consequence. Dee's presence beside them provided a stabilizing and reflective counterpoint, her calm eyes observing the subtle dynamics of the room. "You are now in the ultimate stage of continuous integration," she said softly. "Observation and awareness are inseparable from judgment and action. Consequences unfold dynamically, often beyond immediate perception. The black and white framework is now internalized. It is your lens for perceiving duality, moral complexity, and emergent patterns. Your task is not control, but thoughtful engagement with the emergent system." Raj focused on the participants, noticing the delicate shifts in posture, fleeting expressions, and subtle pauses that compose the living network of interaction. A hesitation by one participant triggered a ripple across multiple small groups. A soft glance from another subtly realigned attention and response. Each micro-interaction contained layers of ethical and perceptual information, reinforcing the necessity of sustained engagement, careful observation, and ethically informed intervention. Dwayne leaned closer, whispering, "Man, it's crazy. Even tiny mistakes can change the whole vibe. And even fixing something takes awareness, patience, judgment. It's nonstop." Raj smiled faintly, absorbing the weight of Dwayne's words. The night had evolved into a continuous test of perception, moral reasoning, and adaptive response. The lounge was not a passive space. It was alive, emergent, and morally weighted. Each microaction contributed to a network whose outcomes extended far beyond immediate visibility. Dee added, "Mastery is iterative. Awareness informs action. Action generates consequence. Consequence informs perception. Patterns are emergent, and ethical judgment must guide engagement. Continuous reflection and measured intervention are necessary to navigate this complexity responsibly." Raj felt a profound clarity as he surveyed the room. Participants' interactions, though subtle, generated an intricate web of influence. Hesitations, micro-glances, and gestures propagated through clusters, producing emergent consequences that could stabilize or destabilize the network. He recognized that awareness alone was insufficient. Moral and ethical integration, along with adaptive, carefully calibrated action, were essential for meaningful engagement. A minor disruption occurred nearby. A participant misinterpreted another's subtle gesture, producing hesitation and subtle tension. Raj observed carefully, analyzing ripple effects. With reflective guidance, he intervened subtly, prompting recalibration without imposing authority. Dwayne mirrored the approach, using instinct tempered by observation to stabilize the emergent pattern. Dee's approving glance confirmed successful integration of perception, judgment, and adaptive action. The masked figure moved again through the lounge, silent but profoundly present, their gaze acknowledging the progress and engagement of Raj, Dwayne, and others. You have integrated observation, moral awareness, and adaptive action. The figure said softly, voice resonant yet unobtrusive. Understand that this process is perpetual. Observation informs judgment, judgment guides action, and action generates consequence. Micro-actions accumulate. Patterns emerge dynamically. Ethical awareness is inseparable from engagement. Mastery is continuous, iterative, and adaptive. The network of influence extends beyond immediate perception. Each choice matters. Raj exhaled deeply, internalizing the cumulative lessons of the night. The structured exercises had cultivated perception, ethical awareness, and response. The lounge revealed the dynamic application of those lessons in an emergent system, where every microaction and choice carried moral and consequential weight. Awareness, judgment, and adaptive action were inseparable, flowing continuously across perception, intervention, and consequence. The black and white motif had become a fully internalized framework, enabling Raj to perceive duality, complexity, and interconnectedness in human interaction. Subtle shifts continued to present insight. Hesitation, microexpression, or a brief pause revealed ethical dilemmas and hidden patterns, prompting reflective engagement. Raj intervened where necessary, balancing perception, ethical integration, and action. Dwayne, increasingly attuned to the emergent network, contributed energy, responsiveness, and intuitive insight, complementing Raj's measured engagement. Dee remained the stabilizing presence, ensuring interventions were ethically grounded and contextually informed. The lounge, now a living microcosm of moral, perceptual, and cognitive complexity, demonstrated the night's final lesson. Mastery is continuous, emergent, and ethically integrated. Awareness and judgment are iterative, and consequences ripple unpredictably across interconnected systems. Raj understood that the structured trials and installations had only prepared him for this dynamic, real-time application. Perceiving micro-interactions, integrating ethical judgment, and engaging adaptively in a morally weighted, emergent environment. The masked figure addressed the room one final time, their voice calm, deliberate, and resonant. You have acted, observed, and integrated. Remember, observation and ethical action are inseparable. Every microaction ripples outward. Patterns emerge unpredictably. Mastery is iterative, adaptive, and continuous. Engage thoughtfully. Act with courage. Observe with intention. Ethical awareness shapes consequences far beyond immediate perception. The night is complete, yet the practice continues indefinitely. Raj felt a profound internal shift. The night had transformed perception into integrated awareness, moral judgment into active engagement, and observation into a continuous feedback loop of consequence. Every microaction now carried significance. Every choice contributed to emergent patterns of influence and ethical weight. Dwayne, whispering beside him, reflected, I get it now, it's not just about the exercises. It's about seeing, understanding, and acting continuously. Even small things matter. Even mistakes. Dee smiled, her calm presence reinforcing the lesson. Yes, awareness, judgment, and action are continuous. Life itself is emergent, morally complex, and interconnected. Apply the internalized framework consciously, ethically, and consistently. The black and white is no longer visual. It is cognitive, perceptual, and moral. Mastery is lived, not static. Raj exhaled, the weight and clarity of the night's journey settling fully. The black and white motif, once a guiding aesthetic, had become a cognitive and ethical lens, shaping perception, judgment, and action. Awareness, moral, discernment, and adaptive engagement had been internalized as a continuous, iterative process, extending beyond the lounge into the broader emergent system of life. The subtle currents of interaction continued, yet Raj no longer felt disoriented. He perceived the web of micro-actions, consequences, and ethical responsibilities with clarity. Mastery, he realized, was not control, but ongoing integration, observation, and responsible engagement with emergent patterns. As the final moments of the night passed, the lounge's energy coalesced into a quiet, reflective equilibrium. Raj, Dwayne, and Dee remained attentive, observing subtle ripples, micro-interactions, and emergent adjustments, embodying the continuous, ethically informed engagement the night had taught them. The masked figure receded, leaving behind the resonant lesson that awareness, judgment, and action were inseparable, emergent, and perpetual. Raj understood, finally, that the night's journey, from the mirrored corridors and mechanical puzzles to the projections, final chamber, and reflective lounge, had been a single, sustained continuum. Every choice, micro-action, and observation had been a node in an expansive network of consequence, requiring continuous ethical integration and adaptive engagement. And as he observed the interconnected system around him, he realized that mastery was not a destination, but a lived practice. Continuous awareness, ethical judgment, and adaptive action flowing perpetually through the emergent, morally complex, and interconnected reality of human life.